I can, yeah. Yep. You guys have a bit of... Welcome back to Formula Student 2025. Giles and Jess with you in the commentary box as we look ahead to the top teams heading out on track for endurance. It will make or break a team's ambitions in Formula Student 2025. So take your seats in the stands if you're just joining us. I can see a lot of you just running and getting your seats now. Sat down quickly. We're about to go. I should also say that the track has been declared damp. So teams that are about to run, listen up. The track has been declared damp. So that therefore means that the tyre choice is at your discretion. It is open. You can choose slicks or you can choose wet. You are allowed to run with both. The question falls to you. Bear in mind, a lot of the track is drying out, but there are damp sections, especially towards the end opposite the stands. So that is at your discretion, teams. The teams we're about to see competing in endurance are Staffordshire University, ADGA, the University of the West of England, otherwise known as UWE, the University of the West of Leeds, University of Leeds, not the West of Leeds, crikey Moses, University of the Basque Country, otherwise known as Bizkaia, Oxford Brookes University, the Technical University of Denmark, otherwise known as Vermilion. We've also got Cardiff, University of Bath, and Coventry to come as well. We also had a visit from a Formula Student legend, Michael himself, who has clarified with us exactly what happens during the driver change. I thought you might find it rather interesting as the teams begin to line up. These are the teams that will be vying to win endurance, not only complete endurance, but win it with the fastest time. And bear in mind, you've got two drivers with two stints. Driver number 1 drives for 14 laps. Driver number 2 drives for 13 laps, 27 in total. As soon as the wheels stop for the driver change and the power is cut, the 3-minute timer starts. You've got a maximum of 3 minutes. If you're slower getting out of the pits, then that past 3 minutes, if you're slower than 3 minutes, say you're 3 minutes 30 seconds will be added to your time. If they're faster, the Scroots can then double check, and that's the Scroots time. That's available for them, that 3 minutes. If you're faster than the 3 minutes, you have to be there for 3 minutes. They then have to, a minute to restart. If a minute isn't achieved, if you don't restart within a minute, there's a DNF. Now, the time that you're in the pits comes off the total, excluding anything over 3 minutes. And if they come in under a meatball and the Scroots find a problem, then that's a DQ. If there's no problem, then the time they're in, because of that meatball, gets deducted from their total time. So thank you to Michael for clarifying exactly what goes on during that driver change. Jess, we can see the field of cars lining up on the pit lane. Who are you excited to see?
I am really excited to see UWE, and I think we're going to have a former student legend come in the commentary box during that one, because they've overcome so much trouble to be here today, and they were one of the last teams to go through sprint yesterday as well, so I'm excited to see what they can do. Vermilion Racing, I've been chatting with them a lot this week. They seem to be very hyped about this event, and of course Oxford Brookes have had problems. I really hope they fix their head of endurance, and we could see something quite interesting developing between them as well. But I hope Coventry don't have the problem that we saw about a few years ago, where they did well in endurance, and then the problems start to occur a little bit. So I'm keeping my eye on that. But the one team I'm keeping my eye on closely is Bath. They've been the most consistent I've been in terms of dynamic events this weekend, been in the top 2, top 3 almost every single event. And they have a really good car.
They do have a very good car, very nice livery as well. A throwback to the 90s Williams team. Another team who've got a great livery who I need to shout out are Loughborough. We haven't actually seen Loughborough on track, but regardless, I want to give them some credit, because what they've done is they've taken the L and the borough in their name, and as a nod to the Marlboro Cigarettes F1 liveries of the days of yore, specifically Senna's classic McLaren, they've done a really great job on their livery. So I just want a big shout out to Loughborough for that, let alone all the engineering involved in getting a car and trying to get it through scrutineering. It's an incredibly difficult task. Meanwhile, some results were coming in yesterday, and I want to give a shout out to Formula Trinity, who have won Racing Pride, the Aston Martin Racing Pride Award, won for the Financial Times. I say the Financial Times, Formula Trinity. I see FT and I immediately think of the Financial Times because I read the Financial Times. But no, this is Formula Trinity. So congratulations to Formula Trinity for winning the Aston Martin Racing Pride. And also, they did cost incredibly well as a concept team this year. So big shout outs to Formula Trinity for doing well in cost and for winning the Aston Martin Racing Pride Award. We're going racing again very, very soon. We've got to give a loud shout out to Vermilion, and especially our crazy good cameraman, Oliver, the Polish guy, according to David. David's been in the comments all weekend as incredibly passionate, but we'll also copy and paste the comment every single time until we read it out. Until we read it out. So, David, we can see. You don't need to copy and paste. We'll get round to it. Meanwhile, we've got what I'll tell you who we've got coming up. We've got Sheffield and Staffordshire. Sheffield we had earlier. We've got Staffordshire. Lunchtime. I get sleepy. Right, here we go then. So let's go through the cars we're about to see. Staffordshire, University of Adgar, Align Racing, University of the West of England, UE. And we will be joined by a Formula student legend in the comms box for that particular session. We'll also have the University of Leeds, the University of the Basque Country, Oxford Brookes University, OBR, Oxford Brookes Racing, the Technical University of Denmark, Vermilion, will be joining us on track, as well as Cardiff University, the University of Bath, and Coventry University. Coventry University's powertrain, one of the most exciting I have seen a Formula student over the years. Just impeccable stuff. So they will be going last. They qualified first yesterday in sprint. Staffordshire, their friendly rivals, will be the first out on track. You can see them on your screens there with that distinctive shark on the nose cone. 27 laps is what they need to complete to finish endurance. Bear in mind, this is a new course for Formula Student 2025. It's been set up to encourage fast driving, but they've thrown in some technical aspects to make sure they challenge the drivers. And the challenge really is there. I was talking to the Exeter driver who spun through the Mansell section of the course. Unfortunately, the front right camber is fine. The front left was incorrect. They were trying to put the power on so they didn't understeer off the corner, and all the power didn't go. All of a sudden, it all came at once, and as a result, they spun. Thank goodness Sheffield Hallam had control of the car to stop before a nasty accident happened there. It's worth noting then that the setups on these cars are integral to a decent lap time. And you can see there, you're on the stands, you're on camera now. So if you're sat in the stands,
give us a wave.
Corner, give us a wave. You're on camera, you're on TV around the world. We've got people watching in Singapore, the United States, and Australia. So if you want to send a message to the world, now would be the time. Do we reckon we could get a Mexican wave going, Jess?
We got it going yesterday, so surely we can get it going today, right?
Okay, if you're looking at the commentary box, starting on the left, going from the left, let's go from the left to the right. 1, 2, 3, go! Yes, that's it. Let's go. Keep it going. Come on. Oh, I'm such a child, Jess.
It's always a good thing. I love Mexican waves. We managed to get a Mexican wave going there in the award ceremony last night, which was quite fun.
And we've also managed to get it going in the stands 2 for 2 both days. We'll have that. Staffordshire lining up then first to go in the second session of the afternoon for endurance. The University of Adgar, Align Racing behind them, ready and willing to go as soon as they are able. Keep your comments coming in on the live stream. That's the best way of contacting us. Kian Butler says, shout out to Phil for doing an awesome job of commentary at FSAE Australasia. Phil does an immense job. I miss you, Phil. Phil says, I am back in Australia now, but I was privileged to attend the launch of the Oxford Brookes 2025 Formula Student Car, so a shout out from me to those that I met that night. Lovely stuff there. Marion Kent saying, come on, Oxford Brookes. David saying, a huge shout out to Gustav and Carl from Vermilion. Crazy good drivers. William saying, one of the worst Mexican waves I've seen. Helen and Neil need to do better. Elsewhere, Joanna says, shout out to BRT first corners this year, and they went past Scroot, track ready. Meanwhile, Neil Williams saying, go, Staffordshire. Meanwhile, Kian Butler, is Monty still wearing his excellent t-shirt? Yes, he is, Kian. It is iconic. Meanwhile, Phil says he's getting ready for another event in December. Looking forward to watching that one, although I must say I may not have the commitment to the bit that Phil and Kian clearly do, staying up late in Australia to watch Formula Student here in the UK for 2025. They're about to take to the track for the second session of the day. The first car on track after the lunch break, it is Staffordshire. 27 laps is what they need to complete to finish endurance. Let me go through for you now the current standings. These are preliminary without times added to for cones. Away goes Staffordshire. That's a very confident start as they head into the first corner. They've got to beat a number of teams. De Montfort with a 44-45. Aberdeen with a 44-50, Exeter with a 42-41, Sheffield Hallam with a 41-35, Malta with a 40-34, Imperial College with a 36-58, and Birmingham with a 35-32. Staffordshire going through the boot at the top of Copse Corner as they head down now towards the zigzags through the sea of cones. You're sat very low slung in the cockpit, and all you see out before you is cones horizontally across the driving line. It can be quite unsettling for the drivers, but no such trouble for Staffordshire at the moment as they head past us here in the commentary box towards the second slalom. This will set them up for the hairpin at the bottom of the course, which begins the trickiest aspect of the circuit this year at Formula Student 2025. Through the hairpin they go, right outside the commentary box. There's a section of track there that will not dry out as quickly as the rest of the course. Through the hairpin with no problems for Staffordshire as they now head into the Mansell complex, taking inspiration from Brooklands and Luffield, as set up by Mike Mansell, formerly of Cardiff and now a Dynamics scrutineer and volunteer. Through they go then to complete their first lap. That is Staffordshire with a time on the board of 1:16.12. An excellent sighting lap for Staffordshire. Lap 1 down, second in progress.
Yeah, so with every driver, they want to get a start a lap straight away because the conditions are a lot better than this morning. The track walk was done this morning in the wet, and with the sighter lap, it means they know what they can do for the next few laps, and they can go faster and faster and faster, and that's what Staffordshire is trying to do. And like I was saying earlier, it's all about consistency. You can't afford to go too quick in a lot of laps. We saw plenty of teams probably trying to lift and coast towards the end of their laps just to get through endurance. You've got to maintain the speed throughout and not go too quickly, because it leaves the second driver with a lot of work to do towards the end.
Absolutely. They need to keep that balance between pace, of course. The both drivers through Staffordshire come onto the hairpin, looking a bit squiffy on the entrance to the hairpin, managing to hold it there, but it did look rather twitchy, I must say. Kean Butler has reminded me it's actually only 8:10 in the evening in Perth currently, so he's not falling asleep yet. Thanks, Kean. Meanwhile, TBD 2612 says Phoenix Racing is so quick this year because they've studied one of the team members' E46 320Ds and worked out what makes it slow and developed the opposite for the race car. Spyro Pyro says, can I get a shout out for David? He's an absolute unit of a comment section warrior. Yes, he is. Meanwhile, Zoe Ange says, come on Staffordshire, and Arcane Venator says, go Staffs and go Calvin. Meanwhile, out onto the track now come Align Racing, the University of Adger, the second team to take to the track for the second stint of endurance. You're on screen now with Staffordshire. Looking very planted are the team from Staffordshire with the iconic nose cone with a shark and sponsorship from Alton Towers, Jess.
What? I would have dreamed of a sponsorship from Alton Towers there. It shows that if you do well in Formula Student previously, then you can get sponsors like that. But it is harder for certain teams to do so. But after doing well in endurance with some teams that have finished, maybe they'll get more sponsors next year.
Sponsors means more money means more development means faster cars. We like that. Staffordshire coming through the Mansell complex. That right-hander has been... Is it me, or has that right-hander been expanded a bit more runoff on the exit of that right-hander that's proven so difficult for so many of the teams. Meanwhile, Align Racing coming through in the background of that shot there as Staffordshire commence another lap. The latest lap there for you is a 1:14.28. 3 laps complete for Staffordshire onto their fourth. Adger about to post their first time as they come across the line with a time then of, drumroll please, 1:15.61. That is the first lap complete for the University of Adger. Align Racing all the way from Norway, and their photographer is coming past the commentary box with some wonderful Wellington boots on, and I respect that. Even in the dry, it reminds me of being back in the West Country. Staffordshire then into the zigzags at the top end of the course, barreling on down past us here in the commentary box, headed towards that slalom. The exit of the slalom will then set them up for the left and right over the wet bit of the course outside the grandstand at Copse Corner before then spewing them onto the hairpin. Meanwhile, here comes a line through those zigzags. Watch the exit that the teams get. Will they clip a cone on the exit trying to get the apex? No such problem for Align Racing. They are an electric car. Meanwhile, Staffordshire are internal combustion, and they come through past us in the commentary box to complete another lap. That is 4 laps complete for Staffordshire with a 112.57. 5th lap in progress now.
It's not as fast as what we saw Imperial's first driver go, but what I like about these tactics, have they chosen their third driver first and maybe their second driver towards the end? Because we've seen with some teams, they've been trying to go quick on pace with the first driver, and the second driver is just to try and bring it home to complete endurance. So I wonder for some of these teams, maybe it could be the other way around. Maybe they watched it and see if they want to try something differently. Sometimes it's taking that gamble. And we just had a graphic there which just said the lap that they just did with Agga. I love it.
We've got some new graphics on the way. Thus far, we haven't seen any cones gone, but stand by for when we do get someone clipping the cones, because we may have some interesting graphics for you. I'm reliably informed. Meanwhile, Kean Butler raising a very good point about Staffordshire. I know you're currently watching a line racing, but as Kean Butler's pointed out, Staffordshire have made some really good progress since FSUK returned post-COVID. Remember, they were a tubular space frame chassis with no aero in 23, a tubular space frame chassis with aero in 24, and now they are a carbon monocoque with aero in 2025, which is a wonderful turnaround for the team. You can see them making progress, evolving that design over the course of the last few years since COVID. Align have completed a second lap with a 114.64. They're on to their third lap now. Meanwhile, Staffordshire, their latest lap is a 111.31. They have completed 5 laps thus far. Their 6th is in progress. There you can see that Align Racing. They have come all the way from Norway. It's wonderful to see the teams from Europe coming to Formula Student here in the UK. And if you're watching this in Europe and think, I could do better than that, my car's faster than that, well, come to Silverstone, the home of British motorsport, right here in Motorsport Valley. There's so many employment opportunities as well. Come and prove it. Meanwhile, talking of proving it, Yui are here, and they are out on track now, barreling down the start line, headed towards the first slalom as the University of Agga head through the boot at the top of Cops Corner. And Mr. Lee Traherne is on his way in to talk us through Yui because, well, put it this way, Yui are rather difficult to please when it comes to commentary. If I don't talk about them, they complain. If I do talk about them, they complain. So as a result, I've got Lee in. Their media officer is giving me the evils already. I've got Lee in the commentary box now, so Lee can shield me from Yui. Here they go then through the double zigzag, headed past us in the commentary box on to the second slalom that will set them up for the complicated part of the course. Lee, there were issues yesterday for Yui during sprint. I said it was power issues and it wasn't. Would you be able to correct the record?
I'm not quite sure as well, to tell the truth. There was a question of a little fueling problem, but we're still not quite sure, but it's working.
It is working. It is working very well and looking very rapid indeed as they cross the line to complete their first time. The West of England with a time there of 110.73, 1 lap down for Yui. Yellow flag then as a line come to a stop. They're being told to stop. They are... What is going on there? Yui have been directed around a line through the overtaking bay, but it didn't look to me like a line had actually stopped. They seemed to be coasting. So something's gone on there with Align Racing as Yui go through the boot. Now, I know that you can see there on the graphics, they're listed as a hybrid team, but I was under the impression they won't be running the full hybrid powertrain here at Formula Student at Silverstone. They intend to run it at Formula Student Spain with a full hybrid.
Yes, that's the plan so far, Giles. It wasn't fully finished to come to event in the UK. We have tested it, and it does seem to work quite nicely. But yeah, just needs a bit more tweaking just to get it right, you know. So, but yeah, it's a nice touch to the car.
It is really interesting. So, how would, in the context of a Formula Student car, is it very similar to a hybrid road car? How does the powertrain work as a hybrid in a Formula Student car?
The UE's one has been developed to work alongside the engine, so it's going to give us a bit more oomph out of the corner. It's not a dramatic power increase. It's about 20 newton meters of torque it puts out. But in the wet conditions, like yesterday, for instance, that would have been pretty handy on the acceleration run. You know, just to get the car to sort of grip up and get off the line a bit easier.
Really, really fascinating stuff. I am a massive nerd. Staffordshire come through to complete another time. Yeah, and I've got a funny feeling that someone's clipped some cones, because I've seen a marshal out reassembling the second slalom. So we've had some of the first cones gone of the second session. A line had a problem. They are back going again, as you can see there on track, coming through the zigzags. Meanwhile, Yui are slowing down considerably through the second slalom, but rightfully so. Remember, an off track, if you get the slalom wrong, will result in a 10-second penalty. Getting a bit sideways there, were aligned with the electric powertrain in the back. What can you tell us about the strategy for the drivers from Yui going into Endurance League?
They got a target lap time to hit based on the time set previously by Birmingham, which was again a very competitive time, and a credit to like all the teams that have finished this morning. It's been fantastic to see. Is there six cars finished?
So yes, we've had 6 cars finish. In fact, seven cars.
Seven finish. Yeah, just again amazing. Wasn't it last year like only 7 cars finished throughout the entire year? So
We're doing remarkably better than we have in previous years. Some yellow flags out briefly there for a line. I think some cones have been clipped and people have got to reassemble them. You can see Marshall's darting across the track.
he's going for it.
He really is going for it. I know you can't see it at the moment on the stream. There he is, really running like a bat out of hell. These marshals from Motorsport UK doing an absolutely impeccable job. We're incredibly grateful to them for their time and clearly energy as well, as a line goes through the boot at the top of the course. Meanwhile, here is Yui headed through that slalom, as we've been talking about. Got to keep that planted.
I do like that Staffordshire car though, I gotta admit, it's a pretty car.
Staffordshire do always put together a good unit. They have done for the past few years.
It's a nice looking car.
Meanwhile, Yui's then, looking very quick through the Mansell complex.
What's his time now coming through here?
Here we go then, coming across the line with Yui's latest time on a 1:09.55. That's 2 seconds off their fastest. 4 laps complete, 5th in progress. Aga are currently on their 7th lap. Their fastest, a 1:10.63. Their latest lap, their 6th lap, was a 1:14.30. Staffordshire have completed 9 laps thus far. They're on their 10th. Their latest is a 1:11.98. Their fastest was a 1:10.40. Staffordshire clearly getting into a groove and finding their pace.
Yeah, his target was a 106 to a 110 to sort of compete against that Birmingham time currently. But obviously, the team did have a bit of a dilemma about the track conditions, obviously due to the fact it has stopped raining now. And it's a bit of a crossover point on this track, isn't it?
It is, exactly. They're currently in the dampest section of the course, are Yui. This is where it has yet to dry out, and as a result, you might lose grip if you've got the slicks on, but the slicks are going to pay off for the rest of the circuit as they head through that tight right-hander of the Mansell complex, getting the tail out just a bit there, and through they come across the line to complete another lap. Yui with a time of 1:07.86, only 0.6 of a second slower than their fastest time. 5 complete for Yui, 6th in progress. Meanwhile, that looks to me to be Leeds, who have entered the track and entered the fray, but have then stopped at the kicker that is the boot at the top end of Cops Corner. Can they get the car going is the question. The answer seemingly is yes, but it will slow Yui down, who were just beginning to get into the groove and head towards that target time that Lee's been talking about for the team. Leeds back underway, back under power. The team going wild for a line racing. They've come all the way from Norway. They had to pull in for Staffordshire to come through. Staffordshire doing very well. A line had a problem. They seem to have fixed it. Much in the same case for the University of Leeds. You've now got the blue flag to let Yui come through. Yui's time will be slowed down by that. Leeds managing to recover from an issue as they get back under power, and away they go.
Yeah, it's still going, which is fantastic to see.
Meanwhile then, on track at the moment, we've got Yui, we've got Leeds, we've got Agga, and we've also got Staffordshire as well, not to mention Leeds on track. Lee, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us, and very best of luck to you and the rest of the team.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, coming through are then Yui, Lee, their technical advisor, bringing the car through for another lap, and that is 6 laps completed for Yui. Their latest at 1:18.89, inhibited by the momentary loss of power for Leeds. So they are back out on the track, are both Yui and Leeds. Leeds have completed their first lap then with a 1:44.96, but that was with a loss of power. They're back underway though, onto their second lap now. And they've got the cones. Struth, that was some proper. I love this. Look at that. Look at that from the marshal. Great stuff. A line come through to complete another lap. The team going wild. They have come all the way from Norway, so why not? It's a fair old distance to come. And hey, Oxford Brooks cheer at everything, and they've only got a few miles to come, so why not? And that's Agger there with their 9th lap at a 1:16.03 on to their 10th lap now. Are Align Racing. Big up the Marshall, says Faisal, definitely.
Without the marshals, this event wouldn't happen. And Leeds have almost come to a stop, but they got going again. They had this problem yesterday in acceleration where the car just couldn't. There was times where they stopped. Same with Leeds in sprint as well. The power just doesn't seem consistent, and they can't seem to on the same power at the right time. So I think it's going to be quite a bit of willpower to try and make it through endurance, but we know we can do it. They just got to keep the power consistent.
They do indeed. Some really interesting, properly technical comments coming in on the stream as through go the University of Leeds past my new favourite camera, the worm's eye view of the chicane that brings them out on to the opening straight of the course. Absolutely loving that. University of Leeds go through, Staffordshire go through, a line come through as well. Staffordshire getting very excited for their team as well. Staffordshire have completed 13 laps. They're on their 14th, heading towards their driver change. Their latest is the 1:11.20. Agger are currently on their 11th lap. 10 completed, latest at 1:14.95. University of the West of England, UWE, have completed 7 laps thus far. They're 8th in progress. Their fastest, the 1:07.29. Their latest, the 1:09.14. Right into the target area that they wanted their times to be in to contest with Birmingham. Meanwhile, we've got a number of cars out on track. The great engineering comments coming in. And I wish I had time to actually get into it and answer them, but we've got a lot of track cars on track. So I will divert you to Kean Butler, who really does know his stuff down under in Perth. Thank you, Kean, for answering the questions that we haven't got the time to answer because there are so many cars on track. It's a wonderful position to be in here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2025. Is it me, Jess, or Align looking rather positive?
I love it. I'm loving their attitude. Of course, they made it past scrutiny yesterday. And, I mean, we always like the good atmosphere at Formula Student. Or, of course, Staffordshire has a few cheers as well. I wonder if we can get an award for the most cheers. And Staffordshire has been given the checker flag. Their first driver is done. Time for the driver swap. And it is important that they get the procedure, as you just talked about at the start of the afternoon section.
Yes, so they've got 3 minutes maximum before they start getting time added to their overall endurance time. So what that will mean is they've got 3 minutes to turn their car off. As soon as the car is off and the wheels have stopped, the 3 minute counter starts ticking down. They've got to get their first driver out, their second driver in, prove that it is all technically safe, that they are strapped in safely, and then they've got to get going again. Anything outside of those 3 minutes gets added onto their total time, and they've got 1 minute to then restart the car. If they don't get it restarted in a minute, that is a DQ. University of the West of England coming on through the first slalom of the course, headed towards the boot at the top of Copse Corner. We're coming to you live from the Grand Prix circuit of Silverstone. This is Copse Corner, of course, where Hamilton and Verstappen had their big coming together back in 2021. We nearly had a coming together between Sheffield, Hallam and Exeter. And I'd just like to reiterate massive compliments to the driver from Sheffield Hallam for avoiding what could have been a nasty accident, and well done to the Exeter driver for recovering it, facing the wrong way on the circuit.
And they both finished endurance earlier on as well, so it could have been worse, but I think I'm relieved for both teams that they made it.
Meanwhile then, the University of Leeds have crossed the line to complete a 4th lap with a 1:17.16, only 4/10 of a second slower than their fastest time. They're on their 5th lap now, and as we are saying, those faster teams are beginning to line up in the queue. The 2 big ones to watch out for, Oxford Brookes University and the University of the Basque Country. Those are your 2 big contenders for Formula Student 2025. You can see our predictions as to who might take this over on the Formula Student podcast. You search Formula Student online on YouTube. The predictions video is out now. All of us in the media team who present, giving our predictions.
Team Alpha.
You were Team Alpha. We're from Team Alpha, yes indeed. Who was your prediction, Jess? Who were you predicting for victory in
I
FSUK?
originally said Adgo, and then when you were talking about the Basque Country, I sort of thought them as well. But I originally predicted Adgo due to the fact that their car design was looking very good. But
the car design does look good. You can see it on your screens now as they come through that right-hander. I swear they've allowed for a bit more runoff on that right-hander there. Mike Mansell, come and give me a thumbs up that is definitely the case, because that corner's been so difficult all weekend.
I don't know.
I could well be imagining things, but I swear those yellow cones have been moved further to the right on that corner as you join Align Racing. They've completed another lap then. That's 13 laps down. They're on to their 14th lap before their driver swap. 109.07, their fastest time thus far has been completed. Meanwhile then, other teams on track include UE and Leeds, both looking very good as well at the moment. Leeds had a bit of a moment, a bit of a problem, slowed down UE as a result, but they managed to recover. Meanwhile, a line going through the zigzags now. Watch for the exit. Any cones hit? Not that I can see. This is a rather disconcerting moment for the drivers. They're sat down less than a foot from the floor, and all they can see is a sea of cones horizontally across the driving line. It can be quite disconcerting. No issues, though, for a line racing as they go through the second slalom onto the still wet section of the course. The checkered flag is there waiting for them. They're about to finish their first session of endurance. Driver number 1 is complete for a line racing as they head into the pits to get driver number 2 in. As soon as they pull up and the car stops, that's when the clock starts. They've got 3 minutes to get it all done. A very, very rapid turnaround required then. Otherwise, they'll just add extra time to their endurance completion time.
And speaking of procedure, we've got Staffordshire, sex driver number 2, getting ready to go out on the circuit. They're waiting for the University of Leeds to pass them with good measure. And as soon as that, the marshals will give a brief and then Staffordshire could go. So we'll see what their pit stop time is. We'll find out very shortly. And here they go. Staffordshire second driver is on.
Away they go then. Staffordshire back out on track. You're with the University of the West of England. It's UE through the zigzags, headed towards past the overtaking zone on the other side of the course and coming past us in the commentary box as they barrel on down toward the second slalom. Plenty of comments coming in. And as ever, when doesn't it end up in a debate over whether aero is effective or not? Kean Butler saying Coventry swear there's an aero package only makes the car slower. As a head of aerodynamics for my team, Edith Cowan in Australia, last year's winners at Formula Student UK 2025. It's my job to prove otherwise. He says, however, I can't promise I'll succeed in that. So yes, very much watch out for Coventry. Their power unit is sublime as UE cross the line to complete another lap. That is their 11th lap completed onto their, so that's 12 laps completed onto their 13th, I should say. It's a 132.62. They would have been slowed down by overtakes there. Rear wing is also a great place to snap on more sponsor logo, says Peter Brooks. Yes, it is indeed. 132, lap 12 completed then for UE. Onto their 13th now. Staffordshire come through to complete another lap. The team going wild here at Cops Corner, cheering them on for dear life. If that's how Staffordshire sound, I'm going to be deafened by Oxford Brooks later.
I think there's a lot of other teams that are going to have a look. And don't forget Coventry, Giles. We saw what happened with the hot seat. I know they're going to be having loads of excitement. It's great. And it's great to also see the amount of support that they've got as well. As we're seeing the University of West of England having to let Leeds through for the overtake. The blue flag has been shown. And they got to move past straight away, which they do. And we've got Staffordshire right behind. Their time's going to be compromised, and it looks like Staffordshire's going to be compromised there. They're trying to get heat in the tyres as well because of that.
Well, they're using it as an opportunity to do so because there's not a lot else they can do. But you could see a twitch there from the back end of Staffordshire as they came round the corner to find Leeds only just moving past UE, and there was nearly a repeat of what we saw in 2021. I won't go there, but for those that know, you know what I'm on about. As through go Leeds, they lost power momentarily into the Mansell complex, which will have slowed down. Oh, hang on a minute. There we go. That is Leeds in. Staffordshire go through. Leeds are in, but that must have been for a meatball because that is not Leeds completed. They need to complete 14 laps with driver 1 behind the wheel before they are able to go into the pits. We've seen them have issues previously. They lost power momentarily on the entrance to the Mansell complex, which slowed down Staffordshire. They weren't expecting it, so I don't know what's going on with Leeds, but could someone please tell us? Meanwhile, UE have come through to complete another lap. That's 13 laps down, 14th in progress for UE. They had to pull in to let Leeds through. Leeds were quicker all of a sudden, and now they've gone into the pits with a problem.
I wonder if they've done something early on in the lap which caused some attention from the marshals. We don't know, but hopefully we can get someone to find that out for you, or it might just be a problem with the car. We know that quite a few teams have had meatball flags, but there's one team that had a meatball flag and they were able to fix and repair the car and they were able to complete endurance. That was Aberdeen, so if Aberdeen could do it, lots of other teams could do it. Staffordshire looking very quick through that final section.
UE's come to a halt, Jess. UE has come to a halt And you can see them trying to restart the car as it buckles under the restart. And they're away, but they stalled it. Can they get the car going again? I've got to be careful what I say here. I'm rather intimidated by their media officer. Can Yui get the car going again? There is life in that car yet, but it doesn't seem to be coming forthwith as Staffordshire are pulled around the Yui car. They are allowed out of track to do so. The marshal's directing Yui. Yui steamingly finding it very difficult to get the car going. Meanwhile, you can see in the bottom right of your screens a whole crowd of scrutineers surrounding the Leicester car. There is Staffordshire, who had us stopped momentarily, but they are back under power as well. Yui are away. They finally get going again, so they've rectified whatever problem that was.
They had 2 minutes, and it was way over the 2 minutes. So they didn't fix it in 2 minutes. And if the marshal touched the car, that would be a DNF for them.
There is a time crunch if you come to a halt on the track. I do wonder whether that was the BSPD playing silly with the car from the University of the West of England. As you can see on your screens, there are line racing on the other side of the circuit. Meanwhile, Staffordshire come through to complete another lap. The cheers and rapturous applause from the crowd. Meanwhile, that is the University of the West of England have completed their first session. In they come. There'll be a sigh of relief there from the driver on the final lap of their session. The car decided to play up. They managed to get it going again. Meanwhile, a line come through with a very fast-looking car. Let's go Aberdeen. It says Faisal, get it going, man. Yes, I mean, Aberdeen did finish endurance earlier today with a time of 44.50. The fastest time at the moment, without any cones being added, I should add, is Birmingham with a 35.32 on track at the moment. You can see there Staffordshire, meaner than a junkyard dog, we're reliably informed according to their back wing, and they are keeping it nice and quick and additionally consistent with very few cones picked up as far as we've been able to see, but there's so much to keep going with. Meanwhile, here comes one of your contenders for the win. Bizkaia, Formula Student UK 2025, could be going to the Spanish if they have anything to say about it. Meanwhile, here comes Staffordshire to cross the line and complete another lap. More cheers from Staffordshire as they go across the line to complete their 19th lap. They're on to their 20th with a time of 106.77.
They're going very quickly, aren't they? But they've got a lot of work to do to get to the end. We've got the Basque Country that has just started in endurance. They're one of the favourites, of course, but they didn't do as much run than sprint yesterday. But from what I'm being hopefully informed, that they might have probably preserved the car parts, because we saw with Birmingham, we thought it was going to hinder them, but it didn't. But the Basque Country, they wanted to play it safe and to make sure that their car gets it. Oh, it's Staffordshire having a save there. I think they touched the damp part of the circuit.
They might well have done. Meanwhile, the University of the Basque Country are now lapping around this endurance course here at Formula Student. Through the zigzags they go. The electric power unit propelling the Spanish towards potential Formula Student glory. They need to complete 27 laps in the driver change. Meanwhile, there is Staffordshire going through the Mansell complex, coming towards us here in the commentary box. The teams are hitting their stride now. When the team go wild for Staffordshire as they cross the line to complete their 21st lap, their 20th lap. Their 21st is now in progress with a 105.53. Jack telling us that Leeds got given a black and orange flag.
We thought so.
We've yet to see them return to the track, so I'm going to conclude that Leeds are out unless I'm told otherwise. Do go the Basque Country on to their second lap. Their fastest time, their first time, was a 111.24, and an astounding sighting lap as the track begins to dry out. We're currently in wet conditions here at Formula Student.
I'll find out. Try and find out for Monty what's happening with Leeds as well.
It'll be good to know. Here is the University of the Basque Country, Bizkaia, coming through the zigzags at the top end of the course, looking really rather quick, incredibly smooth. There's a song there for a Spanish driver about being a smooth operator, but I'm not going to sing for you. As they head towards the second slalom, do Bizkaia on the approach to the hairpin and the Mansell section of the course. Staffordshire coming across the line. More cheers from Staffordshire. That is 21 complete out of 27, 105.03. Their fastest time to date. Staffordshire truly hitting their stride with this lap and five more laps to go for Staffordshire. As through come Bizkaia to complete another lap. What can they post here? Is it going to be faster? The answer, yes, 110.73. 2 laps complete. Third to come from the University of the Basque Country. Now, oddly enough, Jess, Yui are away after their driver change.
What was their pit stop? Their pit stop was
3:38.93. So that'll be 38 seconds added to their time. But as you just said there, Jess, and I'm sure Lee would agree, that is tidy indeed. Talking of tidy, coming through the boot are the University of the Basque Country, headed towards the double zigzag. A line crossed the line, oddly enough, with a time of 1:16.97 onto their 19th lap. The team from the University of Adga. You can see the University of the Basque Country might have something to contend with here, with Yui behind them. Yui looking very good. They were aiming for a time between 1:05 and 1:10, from what I can gather, as they want to challenge Birmingham for the lead here at Endurance. So you can see them taking it through the second slalom of the course. A liner out there, as are the University of the Basque Country. Not to mention Staffordshire are moments away from finishing Endurance. Only a couple of laps left for the guys from Staffordshire. They're on their 23rd lap at the moment with a 1:05.76. That's only 7/10 slower than their last lap. Properly consistent stuff.
And like we say, consistency is key. They don't seem to be slowing down, which I'm very, very impressed with. Which means they always bring a great car. Like someone was saying earlier in the chat, they've been looking very consistent since after COVID. They finished well in almost every single event. They finished 4th last year. I hope they're going to finish well this year as well. They've come in the top 3 in quite a few other things as well. And as Yuri is heading towards the double left-hander coming up now. That was very tidy from them as well. As we see Staffordshire complete another lap. So that is lap 24, a 1:06.79, not far off their fastest. Is there a... That is honestly, I think, a team that are very, very keen to win the entire thing. So that's very good in statics as well.
Fantastic stuff for all the teams out on track. University of West of England, you're currently with on your screens. And if you're over in the stands at Cops, it's great to see so many spectators here. So do give us a wave. Thank you very much for joining us here on track. University of the Basque Country, Biscaya, crossing the line to complete their 4th lap with a 1:11.07, only a second off their fastest. They have hit consistency immediately, have the team from Spain. Meanwhile, here is Staffordshire University. They are currently on their 24th lap, their latest of 1:06.79, their fastest of 1:05.03. Moments away then from completing Endurance for another year are Staffordshire, which is very, very promising. I say this, and they are currently stopped behind a line. A line have got going, and that means Staffordshire can get going as well. It says a lot to me, Jess, that Staffordshire can get stuck behind a car that's stopped, and in the case of a line, that may well be because they've got a right cone. They've got a cone wedged under the wishbones on the front right suspension, and that might be the furthest travel cone of the day so far. Props to Staffordshire, though, because they didn't have to worry about restarting. They were just straight in there, and a line are getting the blue flag to get out of the way. It looks to me like they came a cropper yet again in that right-hander on the Mansell complex, and as a result, they had to stop because they got a cone wedged under there. No problems though for Staffordshire as they go through. Biscaya come through as well to complete another lap, and that is going to be a 1:11.10. That's 5 laps completed for Biscaya. They're sit in progress. Meanwhile, the crowd getting very excited for regular favourites here at Formula Student, Oxford Brooks, who will be next to take to the track.
They had a high voltage problem, and that meant that they were trying to fix some issues towards the end of the sprint, which they weren't able to take part in. But Staffordshire don't have long to go until they complete Endurance. They're on lap, well, they're on lap 25 now, and not long to go. And I honestly, that we never worry about Staffordshire, because every time they turn a performance student, they have a car that can compete, and it's reliable. Reliable is very key. At the moment, next lap completed, what's their lap time? 1:07.1. That is very key. And Line Racing got a 1:13.4, so a few seconds slower.
Staffordshire on track to complete Endurance yet again on their penultimate lap now, with driver number 2 behind the wheel. It's a team I've competed against myself at Formula Student, and they are great to compete against because they really do force the best out of you. A well-oiled machine, a fantastic unit, and proof that you can still be competitive at Formula Student with an internal combustion power unit. Meanwhile, Yui have got the best of both worlds with their hybrid power unit, but they do seem a little bit slower than Staffordshire, who are sending it now on their penultimate lap. A team that has evolved greatly with the design of their car over the past 3 years, they just haven't been rewarded with a win at the event in total. But they're a team that are consistently within the top 5 and challenge with the leaders every single time as they come through the Mansell course now. They've only got 1 lap left to go to Staffordshire as the team erupt with applause. They know that they are 1 lap away from finishing endurance at Formula Student 2025. The team there on the cameras now, they know that this few corners that are coming up now will make the difference. Don't count your chickens, though. We have seen it before at Formula Student back in 2022.
Oh, Huey, stop!
Huey have slowed down and have to get back under power. I think they were being overtaken by a line there, but they're struggling to get back on the power, and this is going to be a bit awkward then
for the Basque Country.
For the Basque Country to get through, because pulling out of the overtaking bay, Huey haven't found the power. Vizcaya, though, no power issues for them in the way they go. I'm not saying that that was a power issue for Huey because they're back on it again. It might well be BSPD for them. Staffordshire, though, into the final throws of the final lap for Endurance 2025 at Formula Student. Through they go then into the hairpin now. Moments away from completing Endurance. There's the hairpin. Excellent exit, right close to the apex. On to the Mansell section of the course. Here is the checkered flag. There's a couple of cones gone there, but they don't care because Staffordshire have completed Endurance at Formula Student 2025.
The crowd are delighted. The team are delighted. Oh, look at that.
Overtaken by what does that say? Overtaken by Jeremias, apparently. I wouldn't know what that means.
Has he got a stake?
That Jeremiah is Exeter, Jeremias is Staffordshire.
Oh, right, sorry.
But there we are then. That is Staffordshire having completed Endurance, the first team in the second session to do so. Align Racing have completed another lap. They have posted then a 1:10.85. They are on their 24th. Currently also on track at the moment is Huey.
Birmingham still fastest.
They're on their 19th lap. Huey with a 2:03.42. And elsewhere on track, we've also got Vizcaya, and they've just crossed the line to complete another lap themselves. They are on to their 9th lap now. Their 8th was a 1:11.91. They might be about to overtake Leeds, who got brought in with a meatball flag. Yellow flags, though, for Huey. Huey have stopped out on track again, I'm afraid to say. And that might well be yet another BSPD issue. It's the switch that controls power to the engine. If you apply pressure to the brake and the accelerator simultaneously, there can be a delay between if you do press them both at the same time and then getting the car back underway. As a result, it seems to me with that delay before they can get back on the power, it might well be that. So Huey have indeed stopped. The yellow flag is waving as through come Align Racing, wheeling their way around the stricken Huey car. The fastest time so far in Endurance, to remind you, was a 35:32.74
from Birmingham.
Birmingham are still on top.
Staffordshire got a second there with a 35:49, so only 17 seconds slower than Birmingham, but not quite enough to topple Birmingham from the hot seat. They are currently leading the 27 club with 8 members at the moment: De Montfort, Aberdeen, Exeter, Sheffield Hallam, Malta, Imperial College, Staffordshire and Birmingham.
They're the ones that completed Endurance.
They are indeed, and here then is Vizcaya coming through on your screens now, and Oxford Brooks have taken to the track, Jess.
There we go. The Oxford Brooks have always done well every single year, but there's certain years where they've been plagued with issues. Will they be? Go. And the marshals have got in touch with the car. That means Huey are out. They are DNS from Endurance.
Heartbreaking for the University of the West of England. Not a million miles away from completing Endurance, but sadly, it's all over for Huey. They will look then to recover and redeem themselves in Spain in a couple of weeks for Formula Student Spain. Meanwhile, through go Vizcaya through the second slalom. You can see on your screens there a line coming past us here in the commentary box as well. Meanwhile, though, Vizcaya are the ones to watch currently because they are in competition with a team that are coming past us in the commentary box, and no doubt you'll see on your screens as well very shortly, Oxford Brooks University. Meanwhile, though, Monty with a pit lane report. In fact, he might well have the fastest team so far in Endurance. Monty, what have you got? Very unfortunate for Williams. Oxford Brooks, though, and Vizcaya at the same time on track.
Wow.
This is good. This is good.
That was a lot smoother in terms of like no cut cues.
Mm.
Oxford going faster.
What time are they posted then? 126.
Yeah, that was a sight alert. Oh, a line, one more lap. Can I just go to?
Go straight in when you go for it.
Yeah. Ad go on their final lap, so we need to cut to us very soon. Thank you.
Right, you go.
Thank you, Monty. As we're seeing Oxford Bus out there on the circuit, but Align Racing are on their final lap of endurance. They'll be the next team to compete. We thought that they stopped quite a few times, but we thought they're going to have issues. You could see passing us in the commentary box. You could tell they're playing it safe right now, but they got to, well, pretty much let pass the University of Tabasco. So hopefully they could keep the power as we got Vermilion Racing going out there on the circuit from Denmark. So we've got 3 cars on the circuit at the same time. But the team at the University of Adger will be with delight as they complete endurance. Congratulations, a team that's done so well in the past. Well done to them with a time of 38.33, which puts them into 4th place, just behind Imperial College.
There we go then. The team from Norway have completed endurance here at Formula Student 2025. They will be over the moon with that. Meanwhile, also out on track, they're over from Denmark. Vermilion Racing have entered the fray as they head towards the first slalom on the course. I think. No, I'm not. I'm wrong. I'm on the other side of the course already. I've lost my place. There we are. In through the zigzags are Vermilion. They're quicker than I expected. And they head towards the second slalom already. The electric power unit from the Danish team powering them through endurance. Another electric car out on track as well is Oxford Brookes University. And their nearest rivals, Vizcaya, are currently being held up by Vermilion. As a result, Oxford Brookes will be determined to push it. They are going rather conservatively, though, it seems to me, Jess.
Yeah, it seems to me that they don't want to push too quickly because otherwise they could have the same issues as yesterday with their high voltage problem. So I think they're just playing it safe for now.
Excellent stuff then. Oxford Brookes University out on track at the moment. They are in close competition with the University of the Basque Country to take victory in Formula Student, but do not write off the likes of Coventry as well, who could well be in with a shout as well. There's a lot of wells going on there. Meanwhile, going through the boot are Oxford Brookes. What have you got, Jess?
We have an update on Monty. I asked him to find out about Leeds and he's got some information. So, Monty, what happened?
Oxford Brookes going through the zigzags. Monty with information on Leeds DNF. What happened, Monty?
It's a safety issue. They were leaking fuel.
That's very unfortunate then for the University of Leeds. It was a car that we really liked the look of and seemed to be possible to make it dance right through the corners, but unfortunately a fuel leak is going to spell the end of anyone's endurance run. Meanwhile, here's Oxford Brookes on track, headed through the zigzags and right on towards the second slalom of the course. Out through the hairpin they go and round into the Mansell complex.
Because I thought they would go a lot faster than that.
And that is the Vizcaya. That is Vizcaya. And they have completed their first part of endurance. That is 14 laps completed with a 111.32 from the University of the Basque Country. They are now into their driver swap.
Yes, and of course they have 3 minutes to do so as we've got the Vermilion Racing that has just finished their lap time from Denmark. It's 121.58. They're just getting a bit feel for the track right now. They're currently sitting in 17th spot and we know we could go quicker with the time that they got set currently from the sprint yesterday. For those of you that are watching, these are the 10 fastest teams that are competing in endurance, and hopefully, if we have time, we will have 5 more teams that are past scrutineering. I do believe it won't be that long until scrutineering shuts, which means we can have a final update very soon on how many teams have passed scrutineering, which is a lot more than last year. It's pretty much well over half from last year. So a massive shout out to everyone that's got through scrutineering. Even if you haven't even made it out onto track, that's still a huge achievement. Oxford Brooks passed our commentary box, and so is the Vermilion Racing. We'll see what Oxford Brooks could do as they go past the Brookland and Luffield section of the course.
Through go Oxford Brooks then to complete another lap, and that will put them on the board with 5 laps complete, a 122.71 completed by Oxford Brooks. The squeal of the 4 in-hub electric motors barreling down Cox Corner here for Formula Student 2025. One of the hot favourites are Oxford Brooks up against the Basque Country, both out on track at the moment and about to enter the fray, seemingly might well be Cardiff. They've had significant issues yesterday. I can reliably inform you that the 3rd fastest time in sprint was set by Aaron behind the wheel of Evie, Cardiff Racing's latest entry, running on 2 out of 3 cylinders in 1st gear, maxing out to 9,000 RPM, and they still managed to come 3rd. It's a fair old cop, to be fair to Aaron. Nice driving there from Aaron Farmer, about to take to the track here at Formula Student 2025. Out on track at the moment is Oxford Brooks, who seem to me, Jess, to be being rather conservative. We know that car can go faster. We've seen it go faster in similar conditions yesterday in sprint. Meanwhile, here on your screens is Vermilion, another electric car, this time from Denmark, as they go through the zigzags, heading down towards the 2nd slalom of the course. They go through with no issue at all, as far as I can see. Watch out for the cones, though. Those penalties will increase their times. Oxford Brooks are through the hairpin and headed towards the Mansell complex of the circuit, inspired by the likes of Brooklands and Luffield. Meanwhile, Vermilion are through the hairpin as well. I had heard Cardiff's car fired up, but I can't hear it anymore. There may well be issues for Cardiff on the line. Oxford Brooks go through. Vermilion follows suit very close behind. Oxford Brooks could do with picking up the pace just a little bit. Otherwise, they are going to get overtaken by Vermilion, which will slow both teams down as a result.
Their fastest time for Oxford Brooks is a 122.71, and I just know that there's more power in that car for Oxford Brooks. They've shown it yesterday in acceleration. They've shown it in a few parts of sprint. So I think their new goal is just to finish endurance with the way they go. Or do they have one of their solo drivers in the car? As we have not that long to go for Oxford Brooks, who's on lap 6 now, out of the scheduled laps for the first driver. I have to say, I know Denmark is going a lot faster than them, so they'll need to overtake them very shortly.
They're going to have to at some point. They do. The overtake has taken place, and Vermilion are through with Oxford Brooks left behind as they pulled in to allow Vermilion through. But Oxford Brooks seem to have now caught up in the sense of they know they can put the power down because there's an electric car ahead of them. They seem to be following suit. Not a lot of gap now between Vermilion and Oxford Brooks. Meanwhile, Cardiff were on the line. They were idling, and then they seemed to not be idling, and I would like to know why. And I can tell you can tell me. Monty.
Hello, Giles. So, hopefully Cardiff are going to make it on the track very, very shortly. The engine is running rough, though. Rougher than your voice after an evening of karaoke. Looks like it's going to be 2 out of 3 cylinders working for this one if they do get on track.
So they didn't manage to fix it in the end?
Not from what I'm listening to at the moment, no. Basque of the country about to start their second part, and then hopefully Cardiff are going to be out after this.
Thank you very much for that update, Monty, or should I say Ted. Out through the boot they go then. That is Vermilion with Oxford Brooks right behind them. Oxford Brooks were ahead, had to pull in for Vermilion, and Oxford Brooks then seemed to take it as an opportunity to follow Vermilion around, and they're of equal pace. Meanwhile, Bizkaya enter the fray yet again for their second stint now. A bag of some description is floating across the track in the wind. I can't see it making much of a difference, but you may see a yellow because of it, who knows. But what I do know right now is Vermilion were faster, Oxford Brooks were lagging, and now all of a sudden Oxford Brooks are right there with Vermilion, and I can't quite understand it, Jess. There's mere meters from the back of Vermilion.
They have similar pace, both of them, it sounds like.
Well, quite possibly. Meanwhile, Leicester Powertrain leader is the best. Come on, Leicester, says Nana B. Oxford Brooks have completed 8 laps thus far with a 1:16.55, their fastest time posted there onto their 9th lap now. They're following Meanwhile, in front of them, it is, of course, the Danish team, Vermilion, who have just posted a 120.18. They're 6 laps down, 7 to go. Monty's on his way back. Potentially some more updates from the pit lane for you. As into the boot go Oxford Brooks. And they were clearly allowed through past Vermilion. I was busy looking at the timing board and might have missed that one, but Vermilion are now behind Oxford Brooks. Oxford Brooks, not quite sure what was going on there. Somewhat slow. All of a sudden, Vermilion overtake them, and then they're straight back on the pace to the point where they're putting in fastest laps. An interesting approach there. Monty, what have you got?
Just an observation from the outside. Number 27 seems to be stopping intermittently around the track at the moment to keep an eye on them, just in case this could be a developing thing.
An interesting one. Number 27 being Vermilion, the Danish electric car, seemingly having intermittent power issues from what we can gather from Monty. Thank you very much for the update there as they go through the hairpin bend at the bottom of the course, lining up on track, waiting for both Oxford Brooks and Vermilion to go through is Cardiff, running rough on 2 out of 3 cylinders from what we can gather. If someone from Cardiff would like to come and correct me, feel free, but it might well be the case. We know that Triumph Street Triple hasn't been particularly well, but we also know that the team can potentially nurse it round. And away go Cardiff. Car number 2 from Cardiff University is out on track behind Oxford Brooks. It's the final internal combustion car from Cardiff. It is EV as through the boot go Oxford Brooks. Still can't quite understand the approach they took to that overtake, but there we are. 3 cars then in a fair old queue. Oxford Brooks and Vermilion, both electric powered, and out on track alongside them is Cardiff. Meanwhile, Bizkaya also out on track with an electric powertrain. They come through then with their latest time of a 1:16.44. 17 laps completed, 18th in progress, 27 to complete in total. Meanwhile, we have found a phone beside the Aston Martin Formula 1 car. So if you've lost your mobile phone, then come to
Cardiff
the commentary
has
box.
stopped.
And oh no, that's not what you want to see for Cardiff. Shaking the head there is the driver from Cardiff University as the marshals direct traffic around the stranded car from Cardiff. Bizkaya come through, they are waved around the Welsh car, a shake of the head, a cross of the hands. It's over before it's even begun for Cardiff University.
They haven't even done a lap.
That's absolutely gutting for the team. They've spent hours, days trying to get that engine to work, but nothing is possible now for the team from Cardiff as Bizkaya carry on their way. Traffic diverted around Cardiff. Through the hairpin, go Bizkaya in towards the Mansell complex. And for the first time in 3 years, I have to say these words. Cardiff University, Cardiff Racing are out of endurance at Formula Student 2025.
Their hopes of winning the overall championship this year is unfortunately gone, but we still got plenty of fast teams to come with Bath and Coventry still to come. And we know how Coventry like to celebrate if they win, that's for sure.
By drowning our presenters in...
Birmingham's still the fastest team, and by the way this is going, Birmingham, I think, will still probably be in the top 3.
Could well be. Oxford Brooks coming through to complete another lap with Vermilion close behind them. Those teams clearly a very, very equal pace. And that is a 1:23.43 for Oxford Brooks. 11 laps completed onto their 12th. Meanwhile, Vermilion, the Danish team, with a 1:21.87. 9 laps completed onto their 10th. If you're just joining us, the big news is that last year's runners-up, Cardiff, are out with a very unhealthy powertrain. They were trying to run rough on 2 out of 3 cylinders, according to Monty. We knew they had problems yesterday. They managed to place 3rd in sprint with that power unit on 2 out of 3 cylinders, but getting through endurance is somewhat different to getting through sprint, and it's all over for Cardiff as Bizkaya come through.
They only had 1-1 in Cardiff.
And across the line, they didn't even manage 1 lap, very sadly. And Bizkaya come through to complete another lap. 18 down, 19th in progress, 1:10.68 done for Bizkaya. Their fastest of 1:09.22. So driver number 2 from Bizkaya clearly into the groove as through go Oxford Brooks on the hairpin with Vermilion right behind them. These two are right there with each other. Through the Mansell complex they both go. No dramas for each of them. And past my favourite camera angle, goes Oxford Brookes across the line to complete another lap, with Oxford Brookes timing there in with a 1:15.09. 12 laps complete, 13th in progress. Not long now before the driver change for Oxford Brookes. Vermillion crossed the line there with a time of 1:15.25, only 2/10 slower than Oxford Brookes. 10 laps completed for them, 11th in progress, as they come along into the boot at the top of Copse Corner. Formula Student 2025 live from Silverstone. And Oxford Brookes may need to pull in for Vermillion, because Vermillion seem to be lapping, if not equally, a bit faster. As away go Bizkaya, and lining up on the line, another incredibly quick team. Another British entrant with an electric powertrain. Away go Bath University to complete endurance, or certainly they're intending on doing so. Through the second slalom goes Oxford Brookes, under pressure now from Vermillion, who seem to have just backed off a little bit as they head into the hairpin at the bottom of the course. Round they go. Nice exit and entrance from the pair of them, as away they go into the Mansell complex. This right-hander is incredibly difficult to get right at high speed. Really, you've got to have to slow down if you want to get through cleanly. They both do so. Past us here in the commentary box, and on to their next lap. Oxford Brookes then on their final lap for driver number 1, a 1:15.47. Meanwhile, Vermillion are on their 12th lap with a 1:14.69. They are in fact quicker than Oxford Brookes are Vermillion, but they are still being held up behind them. Bizkaya then, through the hairpin they go. Potential winners of Formula Student 2025 if they can finish endurance. The Spaniards go through the right-hander and take it across the line to complete another lap for them. This will be lap 20 completed, 113.23 from Bizkaya. That is their 21st now in progress. Bath across the line. The team going wild there with a 106.73. That's a damn good sighting lap,
Get
Jess.
out the gate. I think I was predicting Bath to do well in endurance because of the amount of times they've done well in the dynamic events yesterday. They think they're like Birmingham, aren't they? They seem to be coming into the dynamic event with hardly any problems, and a team you would not expect coming into this as well with electric power is absolutely fantastic to see. And we could see a battle between a team from the Midlands and then a team from Somerset, which Bath's not that far from Birmingham, but we've got the Czech flag.
Oxford Brookes are in for their driver swap, and that is good news for the team, who over the past few years have had a fair bit of bad luck in endurance. And if they can get through this cleanly, then they really can challenge the car you're seeing on your screens there in black and red. Bizkaya are their closest rivals, the team from Spain, taken across the line, and they will complete their 21st lap with a time of 1:10.42. 22nd now for Bizkaya. Meanwhile, Bath across the line with a 1:07.07, only 4/10 slower than their fastest time. A very consistent drive there from driver number 1 from Bath. 2 laps completed, 3rd in progress. Can any of these teams challenge the 35.32 set by Birmingham, Jess?
I think if they can, then they've got to be consistent throughout, because I think Imperial were lacking towards the end. They were lifting and coasting, whereas Birmingham were able to just keep it calm and collected throughout as well. We know Staffordshire could have gone quicker towards the end, but again, it was just bringing it home, and Staffordshire wasn't that far out either. So it could be interesting to see what Bath could do. Here is Vermillion Racing. They're on lap 13, so they've got one or two more laps before driver change, Giles.
So that will be Vermillion through then onto what looks to me to be their final lap ahead of their driver change. Yes, indeed, their latest and is their fastest at 1:11.82. Oxford Brookes are currently in the pits as things stand, and through Vermillion go round the boot. Bath have got through on Bizkaya. Bath looking very rapid indeed.
4.86, the fastest lap time of the day by 1,000th over Imperial College.
That's impressive to say the least, and that's only their 3rd lap. On to their 4th. What can driver number 1 from Bath do here, Jess? I'm expecting great things. A sub-60 in endurance is incredibly impressive.
I think we saw that in 2023, didn't we? With 2 cars going rapidly fast in similar conditions that I think hit the 60s, but they were caught by traffic, and that's the danger in endurance. You may get caught up in traffic. I think that's what Staffordshire was lacking as well. They got caught by traffic, as we could see. Vermillion Racing about to finish with their 3rd driver in endurance, and then I'll be moving on to driver 2. 3 minutes they've got to do the driver change and restart the engine. So there they come through. So good job to them. But meanwhile, we're seeing University of Bath going through their next lap time. And I think they're going to go just fast and fast, but it's not updating. A 103.49 for Bath.
Bath on ascend, followed very closely by Bizkaia, who send a lap time up the board at a 105.49. They're on to their 24th lap now. The team from Spain looking very good indeed. Meanwhile, a hub of activity around the Vermilion car as Oxford Brookes return to the track with their second driver behind the wheel. Quite possibly, Jess, judging by that start alone.
That's their faster driver.
That is their faster driver to what we can see.
So I think they've gone exactly the opposite to what we saw the majority of our teams. Their faster drivers going last, and then they were conserving for the first half of the race. Well, not the race, the event. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out, because conserving towards the end would have been better, but you know, they have more of the power in the car and more fuel to get to the end. And they're also marked by their fuel efficiency. That's going to be important. You can see a Bath again go through Brooklyn's Bath Country, not that far behind. But let's watch Bath first. Bath up to the line. And it is a 105, 2 seconds slower, but consistent. You can't go fast all the time. Basque Country are on lap. Finished lap, well, they're on lap 25 now with a 108.36. That's more likely from the Basque Country. They're getting quicker.
I've had a message into the commentary box. It was not a BSBD failure for Yui. It was a failure in the fuel system. It was either a pump or a regulator causing loss in fuel pressure. Gutting when they were so close. The team from the University of the West of England. Come on, Phoenix Racing, all the best, says Nick. Sonia Moraz says Sophie, and then some strong arm emojis. Meanwhile, let's see how fast driver number 2 from OBR is, says Breeze. Let's look indeed. Alexander saying track is looking lovely and dry now. Let's see what the Phoenix Racing car can do, as it struggled in the wet with its 100 horsepower. It did indeed, but hopefully not a problem for them now. I'm really looking forward to seeing Coventry's attempt at endurance as Bizkaia head on their way through the second slalom towards the hairpin. Bath lapping very quickly indeed. Their fastest time of 103.49. Their last was a 105.64. Let's see what they're going to post here. And it was a 106.43. Lap 6 completed for Bath. 7th in progress. Bizkaia go through. Moments away from completing endurance. They are on to their 26th lap, their penultimate lap with a 107.16. They could well challenge for the lead of endurance from Birmingham with a 35.32. They've been topping the results in both statics and dynamics. Have the team from Spain. It really is between Oxford Brookes and the University of the Basque Country, Jess.
And maybe Birmingham as well, with the way Birmingham are doing in static as well. But Oxford Brookes, they're looking a lot more faster. And what's their lap time going to be? A 115.69. So there were certain bits where they were a lot slower.
So that's Oxford Brookes with driver number 1, a 115.69 on the timing board. 17th lap in progress, 16th completed. A 110.55 is their fastest time. But we know for sure that that car can go a lot faster. Vermilion back out on track, a car with an incredibly similar pace to Oxford Brookes, as round the hairpin for the penultimate time go the University of the Basque Country. Bizkaia taking it through the Mansell complex as they head towards the start-finish line. And across the line go the University of the Basque Country to commence their final lap. And on to the start-finish straight they go, into turn 1 and headed towards that first slalom. Will we see a sub-60-second time from the University of the Basque Country? Possibly not, but will we see an overall faster time of 35.32?
Maybe.
We could well do.
I think Birmingham are still in the hot seat now, and I think they're going to hope they're going to stay in the hot seat, because they stayed top for pretty much the majority of the event, because Birmingham were going out 10th earlier on, and Imperial College almost got it. Oxford Brookes just finished their next lap as well, but we're drawing our attention to the Basque Country. They're on the final few corners now. Their hopes of dream of winning the overall event could be important here, as we got Vermilion Racing on the final few corners. Never mind, as they finish off their laps.
Here we go then, Jess, as they head towards the hairpin. These are the final moments for the team from Spain. You can see them on your screens. Through the Mansell complex they go. This time will be vital to their competition. They cross the line with a time of 37.0943. It's not enough to topple Birmingham.
Or
but they-
Staffordshire.
Or Staffordshire,
Or
in fact.
Imperial.
Or Imperial, but they don't care. They are over the moon with that as they bring the car into the pits. Jess, we could be looking at winners of Formula Student UK.
Yeah, and I think quite a few of you predicted in the Former Student podcast, which you can subscribe to. Coventry Uni, our winners from Sprint, yesterday have now taken to the circuit, and of course Coventry now out to party of a team that could challenge both Birmingham and the likes of Coventry on the University of Bath. The Bath that have the fastest time on the circuit right now. Oxford Brooks are going to cross the line now finish their lap as well. And I've got to say, I'm very proud of the Basque Country. They know how to celebrate well and hard. What is Bath just set a 1 minute 4.43? They're consistently fast by the looks of things. Let's hope their second driver could be consistently fast, because that they could be about a few moments away later on from winning the entire thing of endurance. Birmingham still fastest with a 35.32 as their fastest lap. Oxford Brooks are going to have to move out of the way from University of Bath very soon. The blue flags will show for Oxford Brooks. Oxford Brooks, I think, are just trying to pretty much finish endurance. They've done 18 laps so far. They're on lap number 19 and 118.42.
The excitement is building on track. Oxford Brooks are out there. They've got to get faster than the University of the Basque Country to keep their championship hopes alive. But they've got Vermilion all over their back end. Meanwhile, Bath have got a clear track ahead of them. They're lapping incredibly quickly and backfiring off the line, and away went Coventry with their incredible power unit. Over 100 brake horsepower produced by that Kawasaki Ninja that has been Frankenstein. They've been skimming the heads, and they've added a turbocharger, almost doubling the brake horsepower from that car. Really excited to see what they can do. Through go Oxford Brooks then, with another time on the board, and that is a 123.99. 19 laps completed, 20th in progress, 27 to achieve. University of Bath through the boot at the top of the course, headed towards the double slalom. Through the zigzags they go. They are lapping incredibly quickly, are the University of Bath, with a fastest time of 103.49, the fastest of the day. Their latest of 106.89. 10 laps complete, 11th in progress, ahead of their driver change. Moments away then for the University of Bath. Coventry coming through with their first time on the board. And what is that going to be? In fact, I have run out of room on the timing board. So if anybody in charge of the timing could give me a mouse so I could scroll down, that would be great. I can't see what the time was for Coventry. Meanwhile, Bath coming through then.
I'm just trying to see who this. No, that was that 109.42 for Coventry. You could see their latest times on the green bet.
Thank you very much. I completely missed that. Yes. Meanwhile, we've got Monty with a pit report.
Congratulations to the Basque Country, an amazing run. However, crucially, not amazing enough to come here to the hot seat. That honour remains for Birmingham. Guys, still at the top.
Well, we don't know how, but we still are, and by quite a bit over the Basque Country. We're just watching now. I don't think we need to really worry about them. Touch wood, but back.
I think you'll be finished before
Very
3.
quick.
Yeah, I should be, but at the end of the day, we can catch the season.
Yeah. If someone else could do it, then
Yeah, exactly.
it'd be better.
To obviously consider the efficiency score as well. So we can only hope really that we.
I'll just get my headphones and recap because we're about to get into
but also
some play throughout the moments.
Yeah, let me just.
It's coming. Where are you? 21, 118, 127, 23rd. Vermilion, Denmark, 119, 107.
Keep your fingers crossed for you guys. We're keeping your fingers crossed for you guys. The big boys are out of the track now, guys. This could be interesting. How
Coventry back onto the yellow sun.
these seats can stay on top.
Oh no, there's a hornet. Oh no.
Thank you very much, Monty. As Oxford Brooks, thank you very much, Monty. Thank you very much, Jess. I missed the button there. Oxford Brooks taking it through Mansell Complex onto the start-finish line, and across the line they go with a 1:18.40, 22nd laps in progress, 21 complete. Not a million miles away from finishing endurance are Oxford Brooks. out on track at the moment. We've also got Commentary, who just posted a 106.42. That's 4 laps complete for Commentary. They're 5th in progress. A very rapid time then. A car that prefers the dry conditions, clearly contending then with the front runners. That's a very fast time indeed. They can definitely get below 60 if they want to. But meanwhile, Bath have crossed the line with a 103.18. And that looks to me to be not a million miles away from their fastest of a 102.54. 13 laps completed. They're on their final lap for driver number 1 for Bath. This is exciting stuff as Commentary barrel on down through the zigzags. And that is going to be Oxford Brooks, I think, having to pull in for them.
Yep, looks like it for Oxford Brooks. I mean, Coventry are looking fast right out the gates. I just hope that they could carry on and not have the issues that have plagued them in 2023. But I predicted Coventry for the win for the sprint for all the wrong reasons. I predicted Coventry for the win for the sprint because of their heroic performance in 2023, where we thought that they weren't going to post a faster time, and we ran out of power in the commentary box. And the only people that could hear our commentary is live on my Instagram in 2023. Commentary up to the line. As a lap time is, I can't see it because my speed at 107.68, so a bit slower than before, so they're just probably playing it safe for now as they make their way through.
And Bath are
Bath, driver 1 complete.
Bath are into the pits for their driver swap, a maximum of 3 minutes before they start adding to their time for the University of Bath. Team Bath Racing Electric, a remarkable job for the team there. Meanwhile, on your screens now are Coventry University. Their fastest time is a 106.42. Their last time a 107.68. Currently on their 6th lap are Coventry. They've got through on Oxford Brooks. Out on track at the moment. We've also got Vermilion with their latest time of a 107.33. They are on their 22nd lap currently, moments away from completing endurance. Just a lap behind Oxford Brooks, who are currently on their 23rd lap. 23 laps completed for Oxford Brooks. 27 to get there across the line for endurance. As through again go Coventry. That was very quick indeed, surely. What was the time there for Coventry? That was a 1:05.84. Their fastest to date onto their 7th lap, midway through the first stint for driver 1 on the course. Meanwhile, I would remind people that it's all well and good supporting other teams, but wishing bad on other teams just isn't particularly sporting, informative student given the effort these teams go to. Oxford Brooks have come through to complete another lap. 24th in progress. 23rd was a 1:18.58. They're just beginning to coast a bit now to bring it home. Are the team from Oxford Brooks. Coventry, though, no coasting for them as they head through the zigzags. There's Oxford Brooks. They could be World Championship contenders if they get across the line. It isn't over until you see the checkered flag. And additionally, they passed their second scrutineering. Unfortunately, last year, Oxford Brooks did complete the full distance, but were disqualified for running on broken rims. That's the best I can do in summary. I apologise, I haven't got the full detail. I wasn't there, but that's what I have been informed was the case as Oxford Brooks bring it through the zigzags, headed towards the second slalom at the bottom end of the course. Moments away from completing endurance. Commentary go through. There's a lot of power in that car, but with such a twisting circuit, I'm not sure Coventry can fully utilise all of that power. Their latest, a 106.16. That is their 7th lap completed. They're on to their 8th. Gina says, go Coventry. Shout out to Josh Marchant. Love mum.
I love that most people get into motorsports because they love it and try and get their parents to. But I know there's quite a few people like myself that got my parents taking part. And Oxford Brooks, they're on lap 25 now. 2 or 3 more laps to go.
Vermilion come across the line, following them very closely. A team with very equal pace. Oxford Brooks coming into the first corner and on to the slalom, coming past the stricken Cardiff car, who are unable to complete even a lap of endurance. Heartbreaking for the Welsh. Joy for Oxford Brooks, though, as they head through the boot at the top of the course. They're moments away from completing endurance are Oxford Brooks. They're on their 25th lap currently. Their latest of 1:18.16. Incredibly consistent. They are strategizing this. They know that they need to just bring it home now. To the team from Oxford Brooks. No disqualifications, no running out of power, no technical issues, please, for the team. They're on their 25th lap. They've got this and 2 more to do before that checkered flag signals the end of their stint in endurance. Currently in the pits are Bath, who have been lapping incredibly rapidly around the endurance course. Meanwhile, on your screens there is Oxford Brooks as they come through towards the hairpin. Ahead of them And that looks to me to be Vermilion, who may have gone past them, or have they caught up with them? They go through the right-hander that has proven so difficult for so many teams this weekend in the Mansell complex. Vermilion come past us in the commentary box. They're already a lap behind as we have it. And through go Oxford Brooks to start their 26th lap, their penultimate lap. The last was a 1:22.25. They are just beginning to ease off our Oxford Brooks. Elsewhere, the Danish team, Vermilion, they're on their 25th lap. Their 24th was a 1:08.62. Meanwhile, here is Oxford Brooks through the slalom. Coventry out on track as well. Let's not forget, internal combustion can compete with the best of them with electric power. And Coventry's latest time was a 1:06.08, only 2/10 slower than their fastest of a 1:05.84. They are currently on their 10th lap, are the team from Coventry. Vermilion on your screens now as they head through the second slalom, headed towards a complex part of the course in front of the grandstands. Most of the track has dried out now, but this section of the course may still be a little damp as they go through the hairpin to Vermilion. They come all the way from Denmark, and currently they've completed 25 laps. They're about to cross the line, and that's a 1:08.62 was their latest. What is their next time going to be? It is, of course, a 1:07.92, only 9/10 slower than their fastest. On their penultimate lap now, Oxford Brooks moments away from completing endurance as they're coming across the line to complete their penultimate lap. Oxford Brooks onto their final lap of endurance at Formula Student 2025. Their latest was a 1:17.59. All that stands between Oxford Brooks and not only endurance glory, but potentially winning Formula Student 2025 is these next few corners. Stay with us here at Silverstone. It's about to get very, very interesting for a team that are fairly local to us here at Silverstone. Many people from around the world have come out in support of them online, and of course a number of them have made the trip to Silverstone. It's in their back garden, and they might be about to take victory in their back garden. They need to be quicker than the University of the Basque Country. Their time was a 37.0943. What time can Oxford Brooks post as they head towards the second slalom on the course here at Copse Corner? Only this, the left and right-hander, the hairpin, and the Mansell complex stand between these guys and crossing the line. I can see the checkered flag has been prepared for them. The team are beginning to cheer already, Jess, as they come through the hairpin. Here comes the right-hander. Can they handle this carefully and calmly? Yes, they can. The checkered flag is there. Oxford Brooks completes endurance at Formula Student 2025 as the team lose their minds. Coventry come through with their latest time.
And they haven't beaten Basque Country. Basque Country have beaten Oxford Brooks. That's crucial for the overall championship.
That really is, Jess, with over a minute, in fact, several minutes, a minute and a half slower. Oxford Brooks are in fourth currently. The University of the Basque Country are in second. Whoo! Bless you. Oxford Brooks are now in the pits.
And that is, and honestly, that's good news for Oxford Brooks. We're only a few seconds slower than the Basque Country, with them being like very conservative. That is very, very impressive. But Vermilion are about to also do their last lap, and Vermilion have completed endurance for the first time at Formula Student UK. The team from Denmark are absolutely delighted. So two teams with a 36.25 was Denmark in that, and I thought they were leading them, but the timings went down. So yeah, Denmark are in third position. Wow, they've beaten Imperial College, Mr. Cosgrove.
The Imperial College London have been beaten down into fourth, with Denmark in third, the University of the Basque Country in fifth, and sixth is Agger, seventh is Oxford Brooks. I wouldn't like to call it, Jess, but with those results the way they currently are, I've got a feeling it may well be going to Spain at Formula Student
Bath.
2025. Bath are out. Are they back out yet?
No, where have they gone?
Good question. We've yet to see Bath return to the track. They were so quick, but there was so much drama with so many teams coming to the end.
Because they were there and then they've gone.
Currently, then, we're waiting on confirmation that Bath is still out there somewhere. Coventry University have a clear track then, as they deserve, finishing sprint in first, and they are out on track last with a clean, dry track for them. As Coventry University weave the car through, it's Georgia this year. Every year they name the team after the car's mother. We've got extra teams ready for their go at endurance. They've completed scrutineering throughout the weekend, and now they can compete in an open session of endurance.
5 teams.
Only 5 teams will be able to do so, including the University of Oxford, not to be confused with Oxford Brookes. The University of Oxford are here with their car. Monty's been able to provide us with some information. It's a twin motor rear wheel drive, their first time ever on track. Shout out to Ryan Walker, their faculty advisor, and their team leaders Tom and Tommy, with their drivers who are called Lewis and Lewis. They've come from Oxford and they've got drivers called Lewis and Lewis. There's an Inspector Morse pun there somewhere. Meanwhile, Coventry are out on track. As you can see, 100 brake horsepower from an incredibly modified power unit. There's very little left of the original equipment manufacturer's design there. And they've added a turbocharger. They've skimmed their heads, amongst other things, and that is now producing 100 brake horsepower. An absolutely impeccable design. And I've got caught up with my wire. There we are. Commentary, then the checkered flag is there. They're coming to the end of their first stint of endurance. Driver number 1 bringing the car home. And there is the checkered flag. Coventry are in for their driver swap. 14 laps complete for driver 1. 3 minutes on the clock. As soon as the car comes to a stop and the power is off, they'll have 3 minutes to get driver 1 out. Driver 2 back in. Get it checked by the scrutineers. And then they'll have a minute to restart. The hot restarts on these internal combustion cars can be a moment of high drama for all involved. They're usually mapped for a cold start. These engines are going to be hot now, which is not the temperature the engine is used to starting at. Out comes driver 1, in goes driver 2. 3 minutes ticking away now for Coventry. The fastest time here at Endurance is a 35:32.74 for Birmingham. Closely followed by Staffordshire with a 35.49. Meanwhile, the top 2 runners, the ones that could well take the event, the Basque Country, currently sit in 5th with these preliminary results with a 37.09, and Oxford Brookes are 38.45, which puts them in 7th. Meanwhile, Bree says Coventry should be up there for overall 2. They've been quick so far. They have indeed, but it also comes down to the static events as well as the dynamic events. Meanwhile, then,
unfortunately, I'm seeing the Bath team members are going out of the pit. So I think, unfortunately, I don't think Bath were able to get their car started, and I think that's that endurance done. They weren't able to get their second driver.
Jess,
That's a shame.
I'm just looking at this though. They've got the bar out on the Coventry car. Are they wheeling the Coventry car away, Jess?
No way.
Or are they trying to shake it into gear? I can't. There's a bit of back and forth on the car at the moment, as one of the Dynamics members of the team in the pink high-vis attaches that red bar to the roll hoop, trying to get potentially the car into gear, maybe. They're having a conversation with the MS UK marshal there. Or is that Rob Adaway, the clerk of the course? I can't tell from the resolution of the screen, if I'm being honest, but there's a hive of activity around a car that we've been so excited about here in the commentary box at Formula Student 2025. That Dynamics member clearly engrossed in conversation with the marshals. The question is, Jess, can they get the car going again? There's currently, I don't believe, a driver in the cockpit. And could this all be over? No, there is a driver in the cockpit then. But there's a lot of conversation going on, and I wish we had a microphone to it to hear what was going on. But no, they've got the flatbeds out. Are they getting the car in the air? Is that what's going on? Meanwhile, the Lion Racing are ready to take back to the track for their second stint. And this is from earlier. This is a Cone Killer replay. There you go. Some new graphics for you here at Formula Student.
Oh yeah, this was the most travelled cone, it looks like. Oh, there we go.
Meanwhile, I really don't like saying this, but the driver is out of the commentary car. The driver is out of the commentary car as
They're being wheeled.
they wheel the rear wheels into the air. They're getting the stands under the rear wheels. But to me, that they would, if they were doing that, that means they're not wheeling it away, because one would have thought if they were wheeling it away, they could have just done so under its rear wheels, unless it's seized in gear and they can't get it moved.
I can't believe if this is happening. If the top 2 teams from sprint don't make endurance, that will just be absolutely heart-wrenching for both Coventry and Bath. We know Bath haven't made it because we would have seen them on track by now, and they have a limit. So Bath are out of endurance. We know that.
Bath are out. Cardiff didn't get started, and it could all well be over for Coventry. You can see there the stricken Cardiff car. There's Cota there having a look. We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look, says Kota, but unfortunately, they can't really do much with it at the moment. Evie sat there, stricken in the centre of the course.
Named by your sister, not by
Yes.
EV Electric.
Named after my sister for reasons that are best known to the team lead, Gibbo. Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah,
Disappointment.
they're out. Commentary are out. They're being wheeled into the pit lane.
Absolute heartbreak then for the team from Coventry. An impeccable design, really well thought out, and a power unit that leaves a number of teams gawking. 100 horsepower from that power unit is gorgeous, but unfortunately, it hasn't ended well for Coventry, and they are out of endurance. In fact, the top 3 qualifiers from endurance, from sprint, I should say, yesterday, that is Coventry, Bath, and Cardiff, all out of endurance. Words I never thought I would say here at Formula Student, and it just goes to show anything can and truly will happen here at Silverstone.
So far, still the fastest time is the University of Birmingham with a 35.32, and we've still got 5 teams that we haven't seen compete in Formula Student this weekend that could still beat it. A grand total of 27 teams have made it through scrutineering, and we're going to be seeing 5 more teams now, one of which, as you can see on your screen right now, it's the University of Oxford, not to be confused by Oxford Brookes, a completely different university, and you can see 4 other cars getting wheeled in. I would love to see the number. I recognise this. I think it's Belmar.
Leicester's at the back. I believe that's Wuhan.
That's where. Is that Glasgow?
No, that's not Glasgow. That's one of the other teams from abroad. Meanwhile, Oxford. I'm so used to saying Oxford Brookes.
It's
This is
not
going to be fun.
Oxford Brookes.
We have yet to actually see the University of Oxford ever drive at Silverstone, so I'll be intrigued to see how this pans out
I
for
think
them.
yes, that's Wuhan. Yeah,
We heard earlier today that Wuhan had got through scrutineering, and
we were very happy.
it is good news because this is a team that actually came second at Formula Student China. So I look forward very much to seeing what China can offer as the best of their Formula Student entries. Leading though is car number 96. It is the University of Oxford, their first time ever out on track. A team with a great precedent as a university, but with very little to go on. As a Formula Student team, they're weighing in at 362.5 kilos without their driver, a twin motor, rear-wheel drive, of course. Their first ever time on track. They want to shout out to Ryan Walker, their faculty advisor. Bear in mind, their team leads are called Tom and Tommy, and their drivers are called Lewis and Lewis. And my name's Endeavour. Meanwhile, we've got a number of other teams in the queue ready to head out on track as part of this session. It's the third session of Endurance live from Formula Student 2025. Giles and Jess with you in the commentary box.
We got a team from Belgium taking part in endurance. VUB Racing, University of Brussels.
Brussels, they gave us chocolate, they gave us silk, and they gave us Tintin. I'm down for that. As Oxford move up to the line, I should remind you that those teams that have completed endurance, please return your transponders to the relevant parties. I would like your transponders returned to the relevant parties so the poor people in charge of said transponders are not running up and down the pit lane at 7 o'clock at night trying to get them back off you.
We're going to down that screen now. Right. Do you want to take a photo of it? Because we're going to load another session. It's up to you.
Meanwhile, then, we've got our leaders for you. Let's just go through the times that we've had complete endurance thus far. We've had De Montfort with a 44.545. Meanwhile, Aberdeen are there with a 44.50. Following them is Exeter with a 42.41. Sheffield Hallam with a 41.35. Malta with a 40.34. Meanwhile, Oxford Brookes are there with a 38.33. Adger are there with a 37.0. Hang on, I'm getting confused. There's a lot of time.
We got a team going, Giles.
They are
number
away.
96, but they're going slowly.
The time that they've got to beat, if they were in with any chance of winning endurance, is the 35.32 from Birmingham. And they've stopped already. They have stopped already. Have Oxford, the University of Oxford. And I'm absolutely stunned. I was anticipating we would get to see at least a lap, but seemingly, following in Cardiff's wake, University of Oxford have been unable to complete even a lap with the green light on the roll hoop showing that the car is approachable, which is not what you want at Formula Student. You need to see a red light on the roll hoop of any electric car to show that it's under power. It's currently in limp home mode. Is the team from the University of Oxford as the marshals approach it. The driver having a conversation with the marshal. I can't get the name wrong because it's either Lewis or Lewis. But this is not what Oxford University will have wanted.
Especially after passing scrutineering only recently. So don't forget, these 5 cars, they didn't qualify for sprint yesterday. Apart from Leicester, who were trying to fix their brake issues. That's the only team that are an exception to that. The other teams are those teams who didn't qualify for sprint, but they did pass scrutineering either towards the end of last night or today, and they've been allowed to compete endurance. Those teams that were the first 5, they were able to join the queue, and the marshal has got hold of the car. A real shame for the University of Oxford, because it was great to see them just for a little bit out on track, but their endurance event is over before it's even begun. But bravo to the University of Oxford for passing Scroot, though.
Disappointment then for the University of Oxford, one of the most famous institutions, not only in the UK, but on the earth. And I imagine, having got this far, they'll be determined to go even further next year. The bar has been set. They got out on track, albeit briefly. And now I look forward to 2026 and to see what the University of Oxford can do. Meanwhile, I've got a funny feeling, Jess, something was leaking out of Coventry's car, because I can see a lot of sawdust put down on the pit lane. So that was where Coventry's car, I should say, was earlier. So there must have been something leaking from Coventry's car that prevented them from restarting. Real disappointment then for them, although that could have been a leak from somebody else. I know someone else was leaking something earlier in the day. Might well have been another team. Meanwhile, in the queue there, we've got another car lined up, ready to go. But at the moment, the marshal is just having a conversation with the driver from the University of Oxford. The wheel is off. The driver is unclipping themselves and getting out as the team head down to where the car has been parked to remove it from the circuit. You can see the team members in their pink high-vis jackets there, moving the car, headed towards the car to move it out of the way. The driver is out of the cockpit. It's currently in limp home mode, as signified by the green light on the roll hoop. Real disappointment then for the University of Oxford. Will the same fate befall the other drivers in this third session? We know that they've spent a great deal of the week trying to get through scrutineering. In fact, they've pushed themselves to the limits of both time and effort to get here. So
Scrutineering closed at 2 o'clock.
Exactly. A round of applause if you were around then for the University of Oxford. Their first time out on track, regardless of how far they got. That's a huge achievement. So congratulations to the University of Oxford for doing as well as they have done here. Meanwhile, here comes our next entrant, VUB Racing. Jess, are these the team from Belgium?
Yeah, that is a team from Belgium, yes. And I think they only passed scrutineering today. It's nice to see European teams at Formula Student UK, and please, it'll be great to see more university students from there complete Formula Student UK, and they're going slow as well. I hope it's just a sighter lap, but it looks more than a sighter lap.
It looks a little slower than a sighting lap. I won't lie to you, Jess.
Yeah.
I would hope potentially that they might be able to bring the car around for a lap. We have seen this previously in this session where teams that have only just got through scrutineering.
Maybe they just go. I've seen a team last year that was like that, and they were just going slowly throughout the entirety of the 27 laps, and they still got through endurance.
Hi, Bolton. We love you. Meanwhile, here is VUB Racing headed through the first slalom of the course. They were the first. They've gone further than the University of Oxford. They've come all the way from Brussels to be here. One would hope that they might be able to complete a lap for their troubles. It's a fair old way to come to Silverstone from Belgium, as they bring it round the boot and on to the zigzags. I do wonder, Jess, given the pace, whether this is the first time this car has truly been run. We know that this is often the case for several teams who have never
The testing
run the
has been
car.
open today, so
there's a bit more pace there.
There we go.
There was a bit more pace through that corner there. And some of these teams do tend to struggle with the slower paced aspects of the course and find the higher speed sections proving easier to handle in their cars, which are set up for speed as they go through the second slalom. They seem to have to wrestle with the steering on this car. It doesn't look particularly easy to handle as they bring it round towards the hairpin at the bottom of the course. The red light flashing. We came, we saw, we understeered, they say. Let's see whether they do understeer through the hairpin. No such troubles there as they bring it through the Mansell complex. Around that right-hander, no issues for them. And across the line with a time then of, drum roll please. Might have to be rather an extended drum roll.
It is a update, a 2-minute 4.97.
2-minute 4.97 on the board for Virgia Universitat Brussels. I don't think I pronounced that right, Jess.
Just say University of Brussels.
Okie dokie. Meanwhile, Vermilion number 3, driver of the tournament from one of the Vermilion drivers, give a shout out to David. We don't need to keep copying and pasting. We can see your comment. Meanwhile, they are calling to a stop. The team from Brussels, VUB Racing, are currently...
Yes, great to see them out there on circuit. We haven't seen them in a while.
VUB Racing currently blocking the line for Stavanger. Stavanger are on the approach of a fairly similar place, mind you, are the team from Stavanger as they try and coax themselves round the stricken car from Brussels.
And they're able to back on the power very quickly, Giles.
Away goes Vermilion then into the first slalom.
Stavanger, not Vermilion.
Thank you. I'm so... There's an upside down V. Ish. Right, through the hairpin they go. Do the team from the University of Stavanger, and then the green light comes on, and then the car stops. We've seen it so often in this session. The head of the driver back against the headrest in frustration. Talking to the marshals is the driver from Stavanger. There's a yellow flag there. VUB have now got back on the power, so they seem to have swapped positions. VUB, the red light flashing, they are under power and they ease themselves round the car from Stavanger. Can Stavanger get back on the power is the question as VUB carry on their way for this second lap of endurance. If you need to make a cup of tea, now might be the time, as the green light comes on above the roll hoop of the VUB car, which means that that car is currently coasting. There is no power. It's in limp home mode. Can the team from Brussels get that out of limp home mode and get some power down? They have gone further than some of the teams here, including Cardiff, who didn't manage more than a few meters, but although there's one lap completed there, VUB are struggling to maintain power as the red light is back on. You can see...
the red light's back on, and they're still encouraging them, bless them, to get going.
VUB cheering their team on the copse grass. And they are back away, and the team are cheering and waving with delight. There's a shake of the fist in triumph from the driver there. You can see the team dancing on the bottom right of your screens. They are over the moon, clearly, to get the car under power and out on track, regardless of its pace or lack thereof, as they head into the zigzag section of the course. Coming through then on to the second slalom are the team from Brussels. Into the second slalom they go as they come through in towards the hairpin of the course. The bottom end of this circuit is the hardest part. And the green light is there again, Jess. Very unfortunate for the team from Brussels, losing power. Can they coast it round a hairpin without any drive? I don't think they can, which is a real disappointment. And if you are watching on the big screens, you can now see myself and Jess. So a very good afternoon as the rain begins to come down again here at Silverstone. We're live for Formula Student, and VUB are back on the power. The red light flashing on the roll hoop. There's cheers coming round here at Cops as the rain begins to fall again. And unfortunately, that is a real disappointment. Southampton are cheer. That would be why the cheering's going off. Southampton have entered the fray. VUB crawling round the Mansell section of the course.
They're giving it a go, bless them. They're determined to get the car finished. I bet you it will take a while, but as the rain is beginning to fall, I'm almost certain that Birmingham's time may not be beaten.
Possibly not, Jess. I don't think it will be, as crawling to a halt again are VUB. The green light on the roll hoop That is 2 laps completed for VUB with a time there of 2:04.97. I don't know whether they crossed the line for their second one. They're back onto the power as the red light flashes. Meanwhile, here's something looking a little more quick for you. Southampton are here as they head back towards us in the commentary box through the zigzags.
We didn't see them yesterday, did we, in sprint? And we were wondering what's going on. And I think they had some issues to fix after they stalled after acceleration. And I think they only did about one run, and that stopped Exeter and Coventry from doing an additional acceleration run yesterday. So it's good that they've got the car running again. Want to be able to make the end of endurance remains to be seen. And
VUB, I believe...
they're pitted and they're out.
Well, I believe they've been brought in for potentially a slow pace, for lack of a better phrase. I don't know whether that was a meatball, but there's clearly inconsistent power to that unit, and when the power is there, there's not a lot of it, as Southampton come through past us in the commentary box to complete their first lap. A team that we have seen earlier in the weekend briefly. Meanwhile, Bath couldn't restart after the driver change to inform you as to where Bath disappeared to in their driver change. Gutting for them. University of Southampton clearly having overcome problems. The car stopped at the end of their acceleration run. The clock ran out. They couldn't clear the track, and as a result, other teams were unable to go for another run. It was quite interesting because obviously with the electric power, these cars can't stall. Obviously, we're used to seeing internal combustion cars stall at the top end of the acceleration circuit, and that's nothing unusual, but it was rather unusual to see an electric car stranded at the top end of acceleration, which did signify some problems. They've clearly fixed those problems, and the University of Southampton, car number 69, are out on track, and away do go Leicester as well. Leicester have been struggling with brake problems from what we can gather here at Formula Student since we last saw them in sprint yesterday. Their brakes seem to have seized and they had to find new ones. Meanwhile, University of Southampton are into the second slalom of the course, Jess.
Yeah, it seems to me they're making it a lot further than what we saw other teams that are running, that they pass through scrutineering. So I think it's a car that's probably going to want to pass endurance and not worried about overall speed, it sounds like a few other teams. As Southampton go across the time now. What's their lap time, Giles? Oh, their lap time is like 1:44.64, unless it's taken a while to update.
Southampton is 1:37.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So that was their time from Southampton. We've got more cars waiting to go, and it's the number 55. I will look at what car that and number 55. You can find what car numbers on.
Meanwhile, as these cars in the final session attempt to complete endurance, the fastest time in endurance, still from session 1, far earlier in the day, belongs to Birmingham. And I believe we may have Cheryl and the team from Birmingham in the hot seat, sponsored by Bentley.
Swansea's just gone out.
Fucking Moses.
I was hoping
It's such a dull session. It's so slow. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, comms cam. I should have put the camera on for the sprint yesterday, like for the podcast, but never
Very
mind.
tense, sort of holding the breath at the moment. We can't really believe it. Of course, so unlucky for Bath, for example, they were absolutely flying, and unfortunately,
Come on, Leicester.
yeah, just sort of tingling with excitement as well.
Were you expecting to get through an endurance, let alone be sitting on these very comfortable seats?
I think we were expecting to get to endurance for sure, but I think when we saw that we were in the morning session and it was in the wet,
The Oxford Brooks, no doubt.
definitely weren't expecting to be sat here.
What was the cheer there?
Oxford Brooks, probably.
That we are. This is a surprise me.
So how comfortable are the seats on a scale of like 1 to 10?
I think they're pretty good. I think they're worth every penny.
It looks like a knife on wheels.
It does.
You mean 10 out of 10? Yes?
Not Bentley can come up to me.
I've got a story about Southampton I'd like to tell people.
Yeah.
No one's going to remember this, but I still remember it. Swansea owe me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe.
Oh, look at that for an angle, Jess. Look at that.
Okay, 10 out of 10. Back to comms.
Thanks, Cheryl. Leicester out on track then as part of this third and final session. Also out on track with us, we have both Southampton and Swansea. The first time we've seen Swansea in several years. In fact, I distinctly remember being in the campsite with Swansea back in 2021. I was with Cardiff and they stole our Welsh flag. I doubt many...
There we go. We have that on track.
Wuhan have entered the fray as well. We've got 4 cars out on track for this third and final session of endurance. I doubt very much if any of the members of Swansea can remember that, because most of them have graduated by this point. You can see them on your screens now. The first time in a while we've seen Swansea out on track. Nice to see a Welsh university with us as well as Cardiff, and they look like a knife on wheels, looking very aggressive, that aerodynamic package on the nose cone there. And then Swansea, if you fancy giving me a Welsh flag, you're welcome. Through the hairpin they go. Talking of people to shout out, I've got to shout out Glasgow Caledonian for supplying Iron Brew throughout the weekend. Thank you very much to them. Through the right-hander and the left-hander of the Mansell complex they go. The rain is coming back down, Jess, and it's coming back down hard. This might well slow down the teams here competing in endurance. That looked to be a slower moment there, and they're back on the power. Are they, Swansea? Yes, there was a moment of lost power as they entered the straight into the first corner, but they've managed to make that work, had the team from Swansea. Meanwhile, here is Southampton, headed towards the hairpin, and around the hairpin they go. Do Southampton. Leicester also out on track, a team we know can do better, but have suffered mechanical problems. And here's the Wuhan Technology University driving straight on and into the tyre wall. Into the tyre wall. Go Wuhan, and they're still turning their wheels, Jess. They carried straight on. There was no turning into the right-hand corner at... Oh dear. And that means that everyone else is going to have to be slowed down, because that is a huge disaster for Wuhan.
Are they on the right tyre? Because we weren't expecting the rain to come down big and fast. That's probably why a lot of teams are going slowly, because they might be on the wrong tyre.
There might be a bit of grease there, Jess, but there's losing grip, and then there's just not turning. And there was no turning from Wuhan into the right-hander, and the driver severely disappointed with themselves, clearly, very frustrated, hitting out at the steering wheel.
I would say.
And it was the right-hander that's proven so dramatic over the course of the weekend. Shaking the head there is the driver from Wuhan University of Technology. And here's the replay. They just didn't turn.
They didn't brake.
It just carried straight on. There was no turning, there was no braking, there was no nothing. I can't quite believe it.
And Swansea come into the pits.
Swansea are in the pits. They've not come close to finishing that first distance, so they've either had a meatball flag or chosen to come in
Or it might
with
be
a problem.
a meatball flag to maybe change tyres.
Currently then, Southampton out on track. As through they go. And that is a number of marshals surrounding the Wuhan car. They came second place in Formula Student China. The yellow flags are waving as the car is wheeled. The marshals have touched the car. Are they able to get going? I don't know.
No, as soon as the marshals touch the car, that's it, they're out.
Rather disappointing then for the team from China, who spent so much time and effort to get through scrutineering. They came second at Formula Student China, but for one reason or another, didn't turn on that a very, very tricky right-hander.
Yes, it is. I believe it was to change tyres for Swansea, but correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure we can get
It looks slicks to me, Jess. They look to be slicks to me, and it's a bit too quick for a tyre change at Formula Student. The rain, though, is coming down harder now, which will be very difficult for the teams. The yellow flags are still waving as they remove the Wuhan car from the course. As you can see, the cloud cover overhead is looking incredibly murky. Wuhan wheeled away. No turning, no braking into the right-hander of the of the Mansell complex, and away goes Swansea again, having pitted briefly. And they're back out again now and back on the power, although they're not lapping particularly quickly. But then again, it's better than nothing.
But to be fair, it is chucking it down, so of course a lot of teams are going to be pretty much going as slow as they can. I think it's going to take a long while for them to just make it through. Oh, they're in the grass. They're struggling to keep on the track due to the fact they're on slicks.
Yeah, there's a red flag there briefly, and they might be red flagging the session with the rain, Jess. There's a red flag out. The session has been red flagged as a result of the falling rain. The rain has meant the session is red flagged, I'm afraid to say. And that is disappointing for a team like Southampton, who, whilst not particularly quick, were keeping it consistent there. And that's disappointment for them, disappointment for Swansea, and disappointment for Leicester. Leicester should have been out far earlier, but unfortunately had brake issues to contend with. They're wheeling themselves past the Wuhan car that crashed into the tyre wall. We didn't need the slow motion replay because it was rather a slow crash. But Leicester bring themselves into the pits as the rain buckets down here at Silverstone. The session has been red flagged as Swansea and Southampton bring their cars into the pits. I don't know whether we'll restart the session. I've yet to have any information beyond what you can see at home. The driver holding something up. The driver clearly frustrated in the cockpit of the Wuhan car. You can see on the camera how wet the camera lens is, and that's how wet it is here at Silverstone. The rain seems to have abated, and all of a sudden it's come out of nowhere and come down incredibly rapidly. Through the hairpin they go. They're wiping the lens of the camera. It just goes to show how wet it is. We're nice and dry here in the commentary box, not to sound smug, and we can just say a massive thank you to all the stewards here that have kept this event running throughout the weekend, and I'm incredibly grateful to them for sticking it out through rain and sunshine as Southampton and, of course, Swansea bring their cars into the pits.
We'll of course find out if the session keeps on going, but this was like similar conditions to what we saw this morning, with there's loads of puddles and with the track going down, and I think the weather front was coming in. There was more rain expected today. It was meant to rain all day today, but luckily we did get some dry running, and that was a bit unfortunate. So of course we will let you know as we get some news on what is happening with the session. Currently your fastest time, we'll go through your fastest times whilst we wait for the session to get underway if it ever does. So we've got 12 cars that have finished endurance so far. In 12th is De Montfort with a 45.45. Then in 11th is Aberdeen with a 44.50. Then is Exeter with a 42.41. Then we've got Sheffield Hallam in 9th spot with a time of 41.35. Then we've got Malta with a 40.34. Then Oxford Brook with a 38.45. Agger with a 38.33. Then we've got Basque Country with a 37.09. Imperial College with a 36.58. Then we've got Denmark with a 36.25. And second is Staffordshire with a 35.49. And 17 seconds faster than them is Birmingham with a 35.32. So Birmingham currently your fastest. And if the session stays red flagged, and if we do not continue, then Birmingham will be your endurance champions of 2025. But currently they're waiting past scrutineering the cars whilst we find out some more information about it. You're watching the Formula Student 2025 event in endurance. We had sprint and acceleration yesterday. Sprint with the unlimited runs, which I have to say is quite cool. We will look at what's going on in the chat, and there's quite a few things.
I just got to say something, because through no fault of their own, Southampton have been brought into the pits. They've spent so much time over the course of the weekend getting through scrutineering, and this is the very furthest an EV car from Southampton has gone.
Fair play.
Formula Student. Bear in mind that they would still be out there had the session not been red flagged. There was a short, sharp shower. A short, sharp shower. There we go. We've tried saying that 3 times fast here at Silverstone. And we've had to close the windows here in the commentary box because, as it turns out, the commentary box is not watertight. So there was water going everywhere. So that's where I disappeared to for a moment. What we can inform you then is that the session has been red flagged in light of the rain, and the cameras are being wiped down. But is it me, Jess, or has that rain now gone again?
That must have been a shower.
There was a very short, sharp and intense shower that brought the red flags out. And now the teams are going to have to rush about in the pits, as you can see here on Leicester's car. Southampton will have to do the same. They've called the conditions wet. They're putting the wet tyres on the cars now. But it looks to me, Jess, to be heating up immediately, and we could be back into damp conditions.
It's just like the weather's changing all the time. Typical British weather in an airfield. 1 minute it's dry and sunny. 1 minute it's dry and sunny but wet, and 1 minute it's very rainy. When was that a thing? Oh yes, the British Grand Prix 2 weeks ago, right at this very track at Silverstone.
Well, exactly. And still can't quite get my head around what happened with the Wuhan University of Technology's car there. There was a right turn and they carried straight on. There was no braking, there was no interaction with the steering wheel. I'm quite staggered by that. Meanwhile, the cars are up in the air. You can see them up on their jacks as they change the tyres. It's Southampton and, of course, Leicester, not to mention, of course, Swansea, getting their wets on now. How's my driving? Says Southampton's rear wing.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, pretty decent indeed, especially as the track got wetter and wetter and they managed to keep it going. The furthest an electric car has gone from the University of Southampton. An impeccable result for these guys. And hopefully, seeing as they're putting the wet tyres on, we will be able to recommence this session before the end of the day. So do please stay with us. Right now, Jess, I'm going to disappear for a comfort break, so I'm going to leave you to it for a moment. And we'll be right back. Over to you, Jess.
Thank you, Giles. And we still got plenty of action still to come. And we've got quite a few things in the chat. And Jack saying the team with wet tyres might be let back out, but time will be noticeably slower. Fingers crossed they're let out. I'll keep my fingers crossed as well. But with them going onto the wet tyres, that's anyone's guess. And with quite a few cars that have gone out that have had issues, again, they did not have enough chance to test the car like the other teams when they went onto the Wellington Straight. The Wellington Straight was where quite a lot of teams that passed through on Friday and into Saturday were able just to test their cars to see if they're A-OK going into sprint yesterday afternoon, which I have to say was absolutely fantastic. A massive shout out to the University of Coventry for winning that. Unfortunately, their issues got played again because they didn't even finish sprint, neither did Cardiff and neither did Bath. We've got Monty in at the commentary box. Hello, Monty. You've got an update.
Hello, Jess. No, I've just come to join you for a few minutes because as we wait for a few more cars to come on the track, I've just been interviewing University of the Basque Country, been interviewing Brooks. I'll tell you what, there are some really happy teams down the country, been interviewing Brooks. I'll tell you what, there are some really happy teams down the paddock today. This has been one of the most competitive Formula Student contests we've had in a long, long time, and it's great to see so many teams get over the finish line as well.
Yeah, I think I have to say teams like Aberdeen, who we thought that their runs were over, they got through it. Del Montfort, after the trials and tribulations of that. Exeter, we followed their story as well. Sheffield, Hallam. I mean, teams that you wouldn't expect to be here were here completing endurance, and for some people it was just about keeping it clean, and they're going to score some fantastic points overall, which could mean anything to maybe even get into the top 10 of the championship. But don't forget, it's all about percentage. So the ones who were in the wet, like the likes of Sheffield, Hallam and Exeter, they're going to lose that. And I believe Oxford Brooks have made it through post scrutineering, so they're not disqualified this year, Monty.
That is fantastic news for them. I was listening to them just cheer in the pits before. Do you know, this is the first time in 4 years that officially now they have completed endurance. The first year they failed scrutineering. The second year they didn't make the finish. Last year we saw them make the finish, but then failed post scrutineering afterwards. So congratulations to Oxford Brooks for officially finishing the endurance.
That's what the cheers were we heard in the commentary box.
That was exactly what you heard, and I was stood right behind it, and now we're working his church bells in my ears.
Yeah.
Shall we do a quick recap of the top 10 as it stands whilst we wait for the last few cars to come out on track, Jess?
Yes, and we got the hot scene in frame with the University of Birmingham. I think they're looking down, bless them. They're probably hoping that the session's not going to be restarted or dry up. But by the looks of things, Birmingham's going to stay there. They're fastest with a 35.32. Then we got Staffordshire in second. Always finished well in Formula Student UK, consistently in the top 5 since post-pandemic with a 35.49. Denmark in third, which is Vermilion Racing. I think a time they would not be expecting. Monty, I don't think I was expecting Vermilion Racing to get into third place in the space of endurance. That's absolutely fantastic. They just wanted to be top 10 when we were interviewing them at the start of the week.
I mean, to be honest, they just wanted to finish. The top 10 was a dream for them, and they're currently P3 in the endurance. They are a fantastic team. They were so lovely to speak to. We've got to go and catch up with them after this.
Yeah, we do. We're going to have a chat with them. I'm almost certain of it, because I think I've even got stickers on my phone as well, which I absolutely love. Looks absolutely lovely, by the way. Massive shout out to Familiar Racing for that. We'll carry on with those times. So we got 4th Imperial College London, the first team to pass through scrutineering. And that was another good storyline.
That was a huge storyline. Imperial College, we are so impressed with them. You know, for the last few years, they've been struggling with EVs, and they made a very, very bold decision to go back into doing internal combustion. Not only did they have a car ready by February to start testing. They've had 5 months of preparation. Now, bearing in mind in F1, they only get 2 weeks of prep, don't they? So it's such a fantastic achievement from them. And I have to give a personal shout out as well to Alexis, their faculty head. He was one of my lecturers at University of Hertfordshire many years ago.
Wow.
Actually was the last person I had to submit an assignment for. So congratulations, Alexis. You've done a fantastic job in leading this team back to success.
That honestly, Imperial College, I didn't even know that they were competing at Formula Student until they passed scrutineering, and they passed it on Thursday, and their car looked quick throughout the weekend as the drivers got used to the car. And I think they're going to have a very good result overall in Formula Student. Don't forget the award ceremony is tonight for those of you still at Silverstone. Then we got the Basque Country in 5th place with a time of 37.09. Now, that's a team you've got to keep an eye on, Monty. They're a team that have done very well in the static event, and crucially, they are ahead of Oxford Brookes. So, Basque Country, one of the teams I feel that could take the entire thing, along with maybe Birmingham or Staffordshire.
I really don't know which one's going to take it at the moment. For me, it's Basque Country and Oxford Brookes are the top two at the moment. They've been taking it in turns and beating each other in the different dynamics and the different statics.
Yes.
Obviously, this one has the most points to offer. But as you say, Jess, it's a percentage game here rather than positions which dictate how many points they get. And when you look at the final times there's only 90 seconds in it between Basque Country and Oxford Brookes, who are 3 minutes off the leader's pace. So that does mean they're going to have a much relatively smaller portion of points. But as a result, that means the Basque Country aren't going to gain as many points compared to if they put in a faster lap. Just done a quick interview with them as well in the scrutineering bay as well, guys. So for anyone out there who hasn't subscribed to the Formula Student online podcast series yet, please do so, because we've literally just completed a podcast with them and it's going to be going live soon. It's a fascinating conversation on how they managed to build an EV car which is compliant for both the UK regulations and the EU one. So make sure that you subscribe to the Formula Student online podcast so you can hear that conversation when it comes out soon.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you do that, because we've got loads more episodes coming up, including what we've seen over the weekend. But I do believe we're about to go racing. Thank you so much, Monty, for joining. And now we're going to hand back over to our lead commentator for Formula Students 2025, Giles Cosgrove. Giles, hello.
Talk about that for timing. And away go Southampton to continue the furthest distance a team from Southampton have gone in Formula Student. I'm going to crack a window open because we've somehow gone from pouring rain to blazing sunshine.
And hot.
And it is getting very, very warm here in the commentary box. Thank you very much to Monty for covering for me for a moment. We're back underway here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2025. The final session delayed by a short, sharp shower. We'd love a fun story about Southampton, Monty, because this is the furthest this team have gone with an electric powertrain here at Formula Student.
Fully agreed on that one, Giles. So as we all watch Southampton go around the track here, fun news. If you follow the University of Southampton on their Instagram page, you would have noted this week they paid a visit to a very, very notable alumni to present them with a lifetime award. So have a look on University of Southampton's Instagram channel to see them hand the awards to a very special alumni who we know in the motorsport community as Adrian Newey.
It all started at Southampton for Adrian Newey, and he is now the byword for engineering excellence in autosport. And there is Southampton on track now. The furthest this team have gone with an electric powertrain, hoping to be the next Adrian Newey. They are certainly here in the paddock. If you want to work in Formula One, you've got to start in Formula Student. And Southampton are lapping rather nicely on the damp circuit now as they go through the Mansell complex. I'm reliably informed during my moment outside of the commentary box that Wuhan suffered some sort of technical fault, that they were unable to turn the wheel of the car. It's actually a clutch issue or something along those lines. I couldn't tell you more than that. It was a brief conversation I had with the guys from Birmingham who are outside the hot seat and can't quite believe their luck that they've managed to top the timing board in endurance. Meanwhile, Southampton are carrying on their merry way, as are Leicester, who are back out on track as well. Looking very nice is the car 58. They had significant issues yesterday, and I'm really rather pleased to see them out there, Jess.
Yeah, I'm really proud to see them because we thought, are they ever going to get on track? But it just shows. And we've seen quite a few teams helping each other out. That is the key performance shooting, I think. I'm trying to remember who has helped Leicester out. I think Leicester helped out a few teams. I know with Exeter, Liverpool John Moore gave them a spring as well, which I think was quite cool. So it's turning up the performance shooting. You make loads of new friends, and you think it's just about you and your team, but you want other teams to succeed. You want a lot of teams to get through scrutineering. So a massive shout out to any team that's helped any other university in this weekend, because I think their university absolutely appreciated the true spirit of Formula Student. Even though there's rivals, there's a lot of universities that help each other out.
They do indeed. There's a lot of camaraderie going around. For instance, Exeter lent their gloves to Nottingham, and then let me get this right. Exeter lent their gloves to Leicester, and then Nottingham lent their overalls to Exeter. Unfortunately, Exeter may have lost the overalls from Nottingham. Exeter, I suggest you find those quite quickly. Meanwhile, here comes Southampton through turn 1 and into the first slalom of the course. They're carrying on under their own steam. It's great to see, as are Leicester. We know this car can go a bit quicker, but after the problems that they've had, their running brakes, the team are not used to. So a conservative drive from Leicester is to be expected, especially in these conditions, as they go through the hairpin and in toward the Mansfield complex. Questions being asked on the chat as to why the BSPD didn't kick in for Wuhan. You can see it there, with the rear wheels turning rapidly whilst it wedged into the pit wall. I couldn't tell you myself. There are clearly some things have gone wrong with the car from Wuhan. Meanwhile, Leicester go through to complete another lap. Let me get the timings for you now. As that is Southampton through with their ninth lap of 1:30.27. Their 10th underway now. Meanwhile, Leicester, their latest lap of 1:30.02. 7 laps complete, 8 underway for the team from Leicester. Yet to see Swansea, I won't lie, which is a little bit disconcerting if I'm being completely honest, because it was nice to see a Welsh team out there. Another Welsh team who unfortunately are not out there are Cardiff Racing, who suffered, well, a plague of issues for weeks on end, and unfortunately they didn't abate, and only a few yards were completed of endurance for Cardiff. And I've got Dietrich here from Cardiff. Dietrich, what can you tell me?
Hi Giles. It was a bit of a rough go today. The car is having a lot of problems, a lot like with the cylinders running on the M2, and it's a little heartbreaking, you know. It was definitely, it's not what we wanted, but it still definitely was a good weekend. We had some good results in sprint, some good results in skid pad. I think we got third in both of those, and then also our statics were also quite good. Got 7th in cost and then 6th in business, I believe. So
it's the highest results in statics I've seen in Cardiff in a long time, and I've been there since 2018. So congratulations to you guys, and it's just incredibly unfortunate that the car itself didn't want to play ball, and I'm gutted for you guys. But I hope you all had a great week.
Oh yeah, absolutely fabulous. It was my first time at Formula Student. I have to say this has been a wonderful experience. Honestly, it's incredible, all the teams out here, all the engineering that's going on. So all ups to all the teams. It's honestly insane what everyone's doing here. I can't wait to see the future with all these engineers.
It's fantastic. It's also fantastic to have an American with us. And if any other Americans are watching and they take part in FSAE, why don't you come and build a Formula Student car and take it over to us in the UK? We'd love to have you.
Yeah, come on, get out here, guys. Got to represent.
Absolutely. There's a lack of American representation in the field. We have European teams. We have teams from China and Australia. Where are the Americans, Dietrich?
Being too obsessed with themselves. They need to get over here, show some international dominance.
You might say that. I couldn't possibly comment. Southampton have completed yet another lap. Dietrich, thank you so much for coming in. It's been great to see you. Thank you for your time. Through go Southampton then on to another lap. So they go past on being able to stricken Cardiff car. Their latest times are 1:28.50. 11 laps completed. 12 in progress. They need to complete 14 for driver 1 before they are able to get driver 2 in there. Meanwhile, Leicester are out there. Their latest are 1:32.76. They will need to complete 40 laps themselves. They're currently on their 9th lap. They've completed 8 thus far. I've seen Swansea wipe from the timing board, and that would suggest to me that Swansea are a DNF. Really disappointing for them. Meanwhile, Leicester come through to complete their 9th lap, and they come across the line with a time then of, drum roll please, 128.5, 133.03. Really good time though from Leicester, keeping it consistent. 9 completed, 10th in progress. Meanwhile, the 12th lap is in progress for Southampton. You can see them around the track. Leicester right now on your screens through the first slalom and headed into the boot at the top end of Copse Corner. It might be a slow and steady pace, Jess, but these teams look like they found a groove that suits them, and they could well be on for some decent points if they finish endurance.
Yeah, with the trouble that they had yesterday, it's better to be consistently at this medium pace and not too fast and going fast for a few laps and then they're having their car going to a halt. So Southampton and Leicester are definitely doing the right thing, because it's always a pleasure to race around Silverstone, especially with your team not making it through scrutineering over the last few years, and see your car out on track is always a great moment. And especially with them, the time against the clock over the last few hours to get through scrutineering, it must mean so much for the entire team to get onto the track overall. And for the ones who made it through scrutiny that couldn't get onto the track, they would have learned so much from today and the last few days in the Formula Student that they could take to next year. Imperial College London, they did exactly the same. And look, they've done so well. So take a lesson from Imperial College London. But if you did make it through scrutineering, or if you made it through scrutineering but didn't get out on track, make sure you take your feedback to good use to prepare your Formula Student car for next year, because I'm almost certain we will see some teams out on track next year.
I have been reliably informed, and how I forgot this, I don't know. But when I asked the question, where are all the Americans? As if Ava from Trinity College Dublin, formerly Trinity, isn't American, like an icon of Formula
Another
Trinity.
outtake from Mr. Giles Cosgrove.
So,
Yeah.
Ava, I can only apologise. It's been a long weekend. I can only apologise. Southampton coming through then to complete another lap. That will be their 13th lap completed with a 129.67. Southampton headed towards their driver change here at Formula Student, the last session of endurance. Those teams that managed to get through scrutineering before the end of the day. The last few teams out on track. 129.67 for Southampton. 14th in progress. They will then come in for their driver change. Their 11th lap in progress for Leicester with a 132.99, their latest. Meanwhile, Jack Bristol Hill says, ha ha ha, I remember you complaining about the nick flag. What a blast from the past. Yes, I know, I did complain about the nick flag when Swansea nicked our Welsh flag from Cardiff. And it was never returned. It's 4 years later. I'm still waiting on the flag. Meanwhile, elsewhere,
Oh my goodness.
we've got plenty of comments coming in. Kean Butler also suggesting he's half American with a passport to prove it. Okay, let me rephrase. Where are the American cars?
American University.
Well, the Formula Student started in the States, in Texas and elsewhere, and we've yet to see a Formula Student team from America head over here. I know the rules are different, but if they're that good, they could take 1 year out and come and show us how it's done. Meanwhile, through the hairpin and the Mansell complex go Southampton. This will be the final lap for driver number 1. The checkered flag is there, and in they come to complete their driver swap halfway to paradise, or the Formula Student equivalent for the University of Southampton. Car number 69. They are in the pits for their driver change. A few whoops coming round Copse Corner. Great news for the team. This is the furthest distance this team have gone with electric power. Meanwhile, Leicester have got an empty track to themselves now to just keep nursing the car around. We know it's not been healthy overnight. They've had brake problems. They borrowed experimental brake discs from Exeter for a time, opposite them in the pits garages here at Silverstone.
Thank you to Exeter.
And I don't think they did run with them in the end. I think they got them from elsewhere, but it was not. It just shows the camaraderie where Exeter are saying, "Hey, look, we've got these spare. Maybe you'll be able to use them." It just goes to show that in amongst the competition, there's a great deal of camaraderie. As round the hairpin go Leicester. This will be the completion of their 12th lap. 131.42 is their latest time. What can Leicester post here as they come across the line with a time then of, drum roll please, a 130.12. On to lap number 13 now, the penultimate lap before their driver change. Graham Drew saying, let's go, Leicester Formula student. Give us a cheer on the hill, team. I think you've been asked to cheer, Leicester, if you're still there. I must say, the orange bucket hats have been impeccable. I love that, I really do. It does remind me of the Minions for one reason or another. And into the boot at the top end of the course. Go Leicester for their penultimate lap with driver 1 behind the wheel. This is looking consistent, Jess.
This is looking consistent, especially with a car that wasn't running this yesterday afternoon as well. And with Leicester, I think they're going to learn so much heading into next year. And we know that this part of endurance is just about teams completing endurance with how damp the track is. And I have to say, Leicester are doing a brilliant job. And with us being kept up to date every month with their newsletters on how it's going, you can see how much all of the team took part. In the awards ceremony, there was loads of people in some teams, and in some teams there's hardly any. But it's not just one driver that takes part in the team. There's lots of others. They have lots of different roles.
They really do. It's a microcosm of both business and industry as Leicester come across the line to complete another lap. Meanwhile, a team that weren't able to complete the full distance were one of the most exciting teams we saw at Formula Student 2025. We're gutted for them. And here's more on them. Here's a bit more from commentary.
Thank you.
Absolutely great. Winning the sprint yesterday for us in the best position possible today in the endurance. Of course, the endurance is the toughest part of the competition. It's where your cars are really tested. So there is an element of nervousness to that, as everyone will have. But we've been running strong, we've been running well.
Can we put an announcement out for any teams who want to do extra laps at the end of the day to assemble at the endurance entrance ASAP?
Okay, do you want to do that?
Words to that effect.
So we're going to have to wait for this VT to finish.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, words to that
Do you want
effect.
to stay there until we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we make sure we say it right.
No, you're better with
Yeah.
words than I am.
So any teams that want to complete additional runs in endurance, go to the endurance
They need
section
to
ASAP.
complete scrutineering.
To complete, do they have to have done endurance or?
No, just complete scrutineering.
Okay, so teams that completed scrutiny and want to either have another go of endurance.
No, just extra laps.
Yeah, extra laps. Okay, got a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's basically a bit of fun.
Okay, is there rules about that? Because I can't find it
No,
online.
there's no rules.
No rules. Okay, cool. Thank you.
We all filter out the teams as they come.
Cool.
Tight street designed section of street standards in terms of yeah, it's just fantastic. And not only that, we have innovations like the integrated charging into the NC, which I think is one of the best parts of our whole car. Josh can tell you more about that. Cooling package.
So it's caused many blisters by PWI. We basically sent the expected temperatures and given a space available to us.
How long have we got left of the VT? Thank you. We got a minute 30 left of the VT.
That's right. BT, videotape.
Yeah. So any team that's passed scrutiny and wants to extra lap for endurance, please make their way to the endurance area ASAP.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're up and down the pit lane trying to find them anyway, so.
Yeah. And they also have to have a working car.
Yeah. And fuel.
And fuel.
Electricity.
Yeah. I can make that.
Well, good luck to you all. I really hope you all make it through endurance. So I understand you did have a few difficulties before the competition as well. So about 5 days before the competition, we had a massive engine failure. We had to completely rebuild the engine. We did it in 3 days, got it running, and well, the rest of the history in one sprint. We're ready for endurance later. Okay, so one more question. Other than bar, who do you think is your biggest competition
Copy.
for endurance?
last diversity have shown really strong pace there where conditions that there are right now, them achieving a sub 1 minute back is very impressive. So I think they'll be the toughest competition we have.
Well, good luck to you all. We're rooting for you. So, yeah, thank you for your time.
Right, we just got an announcement from one of the dynamic marshals. Any team that has passed scrutineering that wants to do additional laps of the endurance circuit, please make their way to the endurance section ASAP. So that's just a reminder. People that have passed scrutineering, any teams that have passed scrutineering, sorry, that want to do additional laps around Cox Corner at the endurance circuit, please make their way to the endurance section ASAP to do some additional runs. Meanwhile, we're seeing the University of Southampton in the middle of their runs. We just seen a BT from Coventry as Southampton almost went to a stop there, Giles, but it looks like they got going again.
They have got going again. They seemed to stop midway through the slalom. I wonder whether that was just a moment of concern about hitting the cones for the driver, who was able to bring the car to a halt and bring it back on the power. Through the hairpin they go and into the Mansell complex, and that will be the 16th lap completed for the team from Southampton with a 1:43.32. They're onto their, I should say that's their 15th lap completed, onto their 16th. Now Leicester currently in the pits. I was wrong again. It's a 1:39.13. The lap board has updated. 16 laps completed, 17th in progress for Southampton. They are on their way with their second driver behind the wheel. On the subject of second drivers, Leicester are currently in the pits and they are just beginning to move the car under its own power to the line to bring it out onto the track for their second stint at endurance. Driver number 2 behind the wheel for Leicester. So both drivers are the second ones for their respective teams out on track. We've got Southampton and we've got Leicester. I can hear the Leicester car idling here in the commentary box. No such idle noise from Southampton. Quietly getting on with it with that EV powertrain. The furthest distance an EV powered car for Southampton has gone. Away goes Leicester, headed towards that first corner and looking very, very sluggish. Oh, Leicester. I wonder whether that's just the driver getting to grips with the car and these new brakes they're having to run. Having had brake failure post-sprint yesterday. You can see them on your screens now. Headed towards the top of Cops Corner. Into turn 1, and they go past the stricken Cardiff car and through the slalom onto the boot at the top end of the course. They're looking underpowered, Jess, which is more than can be said for some teams.
Yeah, I think the power seems to be, even though it's slow, it's consistent, isn't it?
It's there, which, is what you want.
Yes.
The wheels on Leicester's car returning, as are the wheels on Southampton's car, as they complete another lap. Southampton have completed their 17th lap with a 1:46.63. And that brings them up to an 18-lap total if they can complete this lap now. They're on their 18th lap, 27 to complete for Southampton. Leicester in progress now as well, coming past us in the commentary box and headed towards the second slalom of the course. You can also see people have still stuck it out through the wind and the rain and the sunshine in the cop stands. So give us a wave. Well done to you. You deserve a badge of honour for completing endurance yourselves. As Leicester come through to tackle the hairpin again. No problems for them through here, and they head towards the right-hander in the Mansell complex that has spelt disaster for so many teams. We saw earlier a technical issue right on the entrance to the corner for Wuhan University of Technology, spelt the end of their session before it truly had begun as they piled straight onto the tyre wall with no sign of braking or cornering. Meanwhile, here is the University of Southampton, the closest of these teams to finishing endurance in this third session. How's my driving, they ask, on the rear wing? The answer, pretty respectable, to say the least, as they head through the Mansell complex. It's not exuberant, it's not dramatic, but what it is consistent, Jess.
Yeah, and you get points for even finishing endurance. It might not be as much points as you were expecting, but it's better than quite a lot of the teams that either didn't finish endurance or didn't even make it on track at all. So for Southampton, they're probably going to be quite happy with that, and they're going to learn a lot of lessons heading into next year as they pass through turn 2. Now the sun is starting to peak out here at Silverstone, just like we saw yesterday, even before we ended past the stricken Cardiff car for the very first time, and you can definitely see what it means for Southampton to get through scrutineering and actually fixing their car just in time to get even into this session, and with the red flag causing them. I think it must be so difficult, Giles, waiting for that red flag, knowing what's about to happen, because they just don't know.
We've got grey clouds on the horizon. We've been reliably informed. You can see them in the top of the shot there as Southampton head through the double zigzags and towards the second slalom on the course. They've got those wet weather tyres on at the moment as a result of the wet flag. It was looking like it was beginning to dry out and whether it was a bit preempted, but with the rain potentially incoming, I'll be rather glad to have the extra grip of those wet weather tyres. If we cut to the second shot, I can see on the screens there, that is the state of the weather here at Silverstone for the final laps of endurance for Southampton and Leicester, as Southampton bring it through for another lap completed. They're slowly wrapping them up. This is good stuff from Southampton.
It seems to me, as the track gets more grippier with the wet tyres, that as soon as it gets a bit wetter, Southampton just seem to be more on it and a bit more fast with Southampton. So that's very impressive. 1:30.33 their last lap. So they're really, really getting there. I think they've done 19 laps on lap 20.
They are indeed the team from Southampton who, with every metre covered, increased the furthest distance this team has ever gone with an electric power unit. So props to Southampton for truly sticking with it throughout the course of the week. They really didn't give up in the slightest. I think have been paid off handsomely if they can just get it over the line over the course of the next 7 laps. That red light on the roll hoop, exactly what the team will want to see as they coax the car across the standing water towards the other side of Cops Corner. Meanwhile, Leicester, you can see on your screens now, are coming through the second slalom and are a lot slower than Southampton and are going to get the blue flag. But there's not an overtaking bay on the horizon for a while, so Southampton might wish to coast for a bit because Leicester might not even get... I don't know whether Leicester are within distance of getting the blue flag here as they come through the Mansell section of the course to complete another lap for them. They haven't got the blue flag, so this will slow down Southampton. Meanwhile, we've got Birmingham in the pits, currently leaders in endurance in Formula Student. Let's get a word with Birmingham. Oh, they're there. It's just a shot, guys, but do cheer because you're on camera. Leicester come in, Southampton go through. Your leaders in endurance at the moment with a 35-32 is Birmingham. Meanwhile, Southampton back on the pace. Leicester were overtaken by them as a result of a quicker pace from Southampton. It tends to happen when one car's quicker than the other. As through the boot go Southampton, followed by Leicester. You can see in the back of your screens there to bring you up to date that Southampton are on their 21st lap. Their latest at 131.16. Their fastest at 128.49. Incredibly consistent. Then, meanwhile, Leicester have completed Leicester have completed 17 laps. Their 18th is in progress. Their latest at 143.95. And through they go. The second slalom for Southampton. And headed towards the hairpin bend. The rain just hanging over like a question mark across the circuit. As they head into the Mansell complex, do Southampton. This is going to be the 21st lap from the team completed. 131.16 was their latest. Can they get better than their 128, the quickest lap they've posted thus far? Leicester not a million miles behind. But Southampton come through to complete their 21st lap with a time of 132.30 onto their 22nd now and headed towards the first slalom. The team from Southampton will be chuffed with the great distance they've already covered in this event. 27 laps required to complete endurance. The Southampton bring it through on their 22nd lap. Meanwhile, Leicester are out here as well. They're on their 19, 18 complete with a 148.11, their latest. And it's just a question of time and consistency, Jess.
Yep, time and consistency as they get to the end of endurance in the pouring rain as the track gets less grippier by the second. It's very windy as well, which would help the cars who may have cooling issues. And I don't see any cars heading. Hang on a minute. I do see one car that want to do additional runs coming out of the pit.
It would be University of Birmingham, the fastest in endurance. They
They
were.
want to do some glory laps, Giles, which
spe-
I'm not surprised.
They spent a lot of time out on track yesterday with the unlimited dynamic runs in sprint, and
And that's what I think the reason why they're on top of endurance today was because they were the.
oh, here comes the rain, Jess. Here comes the
comes the
rain in a
rain.
big way, and with a final few laps to go.
And it's windy. Can we just shut the windows? And whilst we shut them, our thing has been heavier than it's ever been as the spray is coming down thick and fast right now here at Silverstone. And for Birmingham, this will probably be the first time in the wet. If you are in the paddock, please go and find a covered area. Go to Cops Corner. Go to the Cops Grandstand where you'll be covered and be sheltered. So we would like to see more people in Cops Corner if you could do that. Luckily we're in a sheltered commentary box.
I'm going to say nothing because if I say anything, I'm just going to sound smug. But there's rain and then there's whatever the hell is coming down on top of us here at Silverstone. Those clouds have unleashed wet hell onto the track as both Southampton and Leicester are in the final throes of their endurance run. It was already fairly conservative to say the least, but now they're going to have to be extra careful not to lose what little grip remains on Cops Corner. And there is Staffordshire. Staffordshire, we were under the impression it was Birmingham, but Staffordshire are lining up to have a go with an umbrella over the head of the driver. Meanwhile, you can see the red light flashing through the haze of rain coming down here at Silverstone as Southampton are on their 23rd lap, 27 required for completion of endurance. Their latest was a 135.53. Through the hairpin they go and into the Mansell section of the course. You can see how inconsistent over just Cops Corner the rain is. Far heavier towards the top end of the course near the timeshare flats than it is at the bottom. And round the corner they go into another lap, their 24th lap now in progress, 23 complete from Southampton. The red light consistent above the driver's head on the roll hoop. Leicester will also be completing another lap. Jess, what have you got?
We just have word from the DirectX official. We're currently inviting the fastest 10 drivers in endurance to try and compete for the fastest lap in the endurance track, which is why we're seeing Staffordshire. So if you're any of these teams, Birmingham, Staffordshire, Vermilion Racing, Imperial College, Basque Country, Adger, Oxford, Brooks, Malta, Sheffield, Hallam and Exeter, if you're in those teams and want to try and compete for the fastest lap in this weather, good luck. Make sure you're on your way to the pit.
Good luck is the right word.
Yeah, so those are the top 10 teams that are trying to compete for fastest lap.
So there it is then. We've got an open track after the end of this session for those that wish to compete for our fastest lap round this circuit.
The top 10 in endurance.
From top 10 in endurance. And, well, it's coming down. I mean, there's cats, dogs, and whatever the hell else is involved in this, because I wouldn't like to be driving in this in a normal road car, let alone a Formula Student car. It's coming down. I have said previously that Leicester's car reminded me a few years ago of a bathtub on wheels. This year, I said, no, because of the change in shape of the chassis, it's a coffin on wheels. I feel like it might well be back to the bathtub on wheels because this will be filling up. I can hear it on the roof of the commentary box. I dread to think what it feels like in the cockpit of these cars.
How are they still going?
From Southampton and Leicester. I mean, this truly is the meaning of the word endurance. As Southampton crossed the line to complete their 24th lap, 25th now in progress with a 137.37 on the board. You can see the impact that wet conditions are having, slowing the drivers right down. It really is coming down as hard as I've ever seen it here at Formula Student. Leicester coaxing the car through the storm. There's no other word for it, Jess. It really is a storm through the hairpin. Go Leicester and into the trickiest part of the circuit. The standing water is an inch deep already and the session's been red flagged. The session has been red flagged and rightfully so. They will have the opportunity to complete it once the rain has abated, one would hope. But that's... I can't imagine driving a Formula Student car in these conditions. They're so close to completing, Both teams in the 20s.
Southampton even closer.
Southampton on their 25th lap, Leicester on their 22nd, but rightfully the session has been red flagged. And fingers crossed the rain will abate and it will give the opportunity for Southampton and Leicester to finally finish endurance. But for now, it has been red flagged and we're rather glad we're in this box, Jess.
I do not want to go out. And if you are outside, go to the Cops grandstand, please, or shelter indoors. Or go into your pit garages or something like that.
I can't imagine, Jeff, someone's going to actively choose to be standing out in that.
No.
So there are Staffordshire who will have wanted to go within that top 10 endurance runners for the fastest lap, but in these conditions, no one's going anywhere. Leicester already parked up. Southampton just bringing it in now. I mean, fair play to the drivers for keeping it out there, because I would have just aborted myself. They must be soaked to the skin. And
What
you can see it there. You can see under the Leicester tent. They're all sheltered in, crammed in like sardines. It is pouring down here at Silverstone. There is some light on the horizon I can see, but will it be enough to abate the rain? We'll find out shortly.
The track, it is right for the marshal to bring out the red flags. The conditions look unsafe to drive.
They really are. And as Kean Butler says, they are high-performance athletes. There's something wet in the cockpit. I feel damp. It's like full of water. Must be the water. As Kean Butler's kindly reminded us of that iconic quote from Ferrari. Meanwhile, Carol McSee says, now that's just George Russell's sweat. If that's what's...
more than just sweat.
If George Russell's sweat is falling from the sky, I've got more questions than answers. As sheltered by their teams are the drivers from Leicester and Southampton with umbrellas. And we're going to try and get you some more information as to whether the session will be restarted. So do stay with us here live from Silverstone, Formula Student 2025, the final session for endurance. Both Southampton and Leicester were mere laps away from completion, but the rain came down and it came down hard. In fact, the hardest that we have seen it in several years here at the home of British Motorsport. One would hope that both Southampton and Leicester will be afforded the opportunity to get back out on track when the session is green flagged. We'll confirm whether that will be happening because the clock is beginning to run up. It's 3:45 as I have it here in the commentary box. But
I think the stream is meant to finish at 5, I believe.
Is it me, Jess, or is it brightening up?
It is brightening up, but it's not. It's still chucking it down quite rapidly there. So I'm praying. I'm praying to the sun dance. Please, rain, just go away because we want to see more cars on track between now and 5 o'clock.
I know there's such a thing as a rain dance. I wonder whether there's such a thing as a dry dance.
A dry dance, or as Monty does it, an airplane dance, which I found quite funny. And Monty's wear lots of tops around on the weekend. And if you've seen all the footage from Monty weekend, if you've seen him around at Formula Shoot, and let us know which shirt you preferred the best out of all of them. I like the majority of them. And yeah, the sun is. The weather just keeps changing like no tomorrow around there.
It's just stopped raining. It's just stopped in the same way that it began. It stopped just as quickly, and they need something to wipe off the car. Do Southampton, including the visor of the driver. Meanwhile, an update on what happened to Coventry. The exhaust was hanging off the car. It popped off halfway through. That would be why they were unable to restart. Meanwhile, we've got Monty. What have we got from Monty? I can see feet. Those feet look quite wet. We've got an interview with Monty. Go for Monty.
Right, hello everyone. Hello from the hot seat, or I should say wet seats. It's a little bit wet out here.
He's soaked. Look at him.
It's Excel top, isn't it? He's not in focus either.
Haven't done enough laps yet to be deemed completed, so they're having a discussion to see if they can get them back out on
There's a lot of puddles there.
I want to hear Monty.
finished officially and officially.
Cheers, Monty. Thank you very much indeed for that one. We can see he's wearing his Excel spreadsheet shirt. There is a man who is a walking solution, although I must say I'm rather glad he's got an undershirt underneath because in these conditions a white shirt on Monty is potentially not the best thing to be looking at. Meanwhile, Southampton and Leicester are sat in the pits waiting to see if the session will be green flagged. And thank you very much to Monty for providing a bit of insight into what's going on there. So it's been a real summary of the sort of weather that you can see at Silverstone over the course of this weekend, and hopefully we'll be able to get the two teams back out on track very soon, because Leicester had completed 22 laps and Southampton, they only had 1 lap to go. Southampton were right there with 1 lap to go as the session was red flagged. Staffordshire in the background there waiting to go for a top 10 shootout. The top 10 teams who have completed endurance will be able to go again to see who can get the fastest lap in these atrocious conditions. I can see one of the marshals there with a purple coat and an orange high-vis giving 2 fingers up to the drivers, not the 2 fingers you're thinking, signifying, I think, 2 minutes before the session is restarted.
That is good news. A reminder of the 10 teams that are allowed to take part in the shootout for the fastest lap if they so wish are Birmingham, Staffordshire, who are waiting in the queue now, Birmingham Racing, Imperial College, University of the Basque Country, also known as Biscaya, Align Racing, also known as Adger, Oxford Brookes, Malta, Sheffield Hallam, and Exeter. So if you're in any of those top 10 teams, if you want to take part in trying to set the fastest lap you can, please do, because that will be absolutely great to see one of your drivers out there on track trying to do that. It's like sprint all over again.
Sprint in the wet, and I must say I'd be rather inclined to see how sideways you can get it in the wet, but that just might be my juvenile sense of entertainment. There is the stricken Cardiff car gathering water as the rain continues, somewhat abated as the sun comes out. One would hope that things can get back underway here. I can see Cota from Cardiff hanging out with the marshals. He's got a fairly great view of the track, although I imagine he's quite sodden, is our Cota. Meanwhile, Southampton and Leicester will be waiting to get back on track. Southampton only a lap from finishing endurance. I mean, put it this way, not only will it be the furthest distance that they have travelled with an electric vehicle from Southampton, but it will also be the longest time it's taken to complete endurance, because with the rain and the 2 stoppages, it's taken quite a while. The drivers, they're quite content to just sit and wait. As Kean Butler has pointed out, 1 lap is a lifetime, says Brad Pitt. Meanwhile, Daily Dairy says exhaust hanging out is crazy. I mean, I've seen crazier at Formula Student. I mean, I think to me, the craziest moment that we've had today, there's a couple of moments. We had Sheffield Hallam saving it as
They almost crashed with Exeter.
Exeter were facing the wrong way, and Sheffield Hallam managed to avoid it. So well done to Sheffield Hallam's driver. And we also saw technical problems for Wuhan's car. They came second at Formula Student over in China. And unfortunately, those technical problems hit right as they entered the hardest corner on the course. They were unable to turn or brake and piled straight into the tyre wall. Meanwhile, here is the view from the pits. This is the University of Leicester as their driver gives a nice big old rub to the visor of the driver there from Leicester, who's also got glasses on underneath by the looks of things, so they're going to get steamed up, to say the least. Meanwhile, there is Southampton with their visor up, waiting to be given the go-ahead to do 1 final lap. That's all they need, 1 final lap, and Southampton will have completed endurance. Meanwhile, we've got Staffordshire also waiting in the wings. I can see their faculty advisor with a green high-vis on. Staffordshire, always an excellent team to be hanging out with, talking to, or just spending time with. They are a great team, and they have come second thus far in the preliminary standings of endurance. The top 10 are welcome to come back to track once this session is concluded to compete in a lap time shootout. Staffordshire always quite competitive, always quite quick. If there's an opportunity to go quickly, then they're going to go for it. Meanwhile, he's waving his umbrella around is the faculty advisor from Staffordshire, Mary Poppins, in a high-vis. Meanwhile, Jess, what have you got?
So, we are going to get going again, but the main priority is they are going to get Southampton and Leicester out on the circuit to try and complete endurance. What's going to happen with the top 10 shootout remains to be seen, that they're going to see, but it's more than likely it's just going to be Leicester and Southampton who'll be taken to the track, and then they're going to see what happens if they have time to do Staffordshire and all the other cars. So for now, their priority is to make sure that Southampton and Leicester go out on the track to complete endurance. So that was an update from one of our Dynamics volunteers wearing purple, and thank you to all of those volunteers, as well as our marshals and Silverstone volunteers as well in orange. Massive shout out to you. And then trying to sweep on the track. The red flag was due to torrential downpour, by the way, as we kind of gathered. So that's your update.
And there, meanwhile, is Leicester sat in the cockpit waiting for them to sweep the track of standing water. I'm surprised the poor driver's glasses haven't steamed up in these conditions, bless him. You can see on the timing board that Leicester have got the furthest distance to go. They completed 22 out of the 27 laps. So unlike Southampton, who've got to go in and out in one lap, the driver from Leicester has got to go out for a further 5 laps, which will mean then that there is the possibility that the glasses might steam up. But then again, driving without glasses, I can't see being a great idea. Meanwhile, here is Cota, or Cota's back end anyway, looking at the back end of Cardiff's car. Cardiff unable to compete in endurance, unfortunately. A few yards was all they could manage. We're hoping to come back with you. There is Southampton's car for you now. You can see how torrential the rain was. The driver's soaked in the cockpit there with haze on the visor. Fingers crossed they'll be able to see through out onto the track, but as the track heats up, one would hope when the combination of the brooms, which are being used to sweep up the standing water, they should have an opportunity to go racing again. Meanwhile, Monty's joining us here in the commentary box in his wonderful, wonderful XL shirt. It really is excellent. Hey, pun intended. And thank you to everyone watching on the stream as well for joining us. Come on, Leicester, coffin with wheels, says Daily Dairy. Meanwhile, there are some of the volunteers that make this event possible. They've come through rain and shine to be here. And there's also the camera crew as well, who've done an absolutely impeccable job throughout the weekend. And we're massively grateful to Hi-Vis for all of their support, technical expertise and coverage throughout the weekend, making us sound as slick as we have. Okay, so we're reliably informed that we can get going again here at Silverstone for the final time, possibly, for endurance. We've got Southampton and Leicester ready to go. 1 lap to go for Southampton. Leicester have got 5 laps. Monty, have you got any insight to offer?
I'm just the only insight I can say is get it to the finish line for both of these, so they can be officially deemed classified. Once they're done, theory should then be endurance officially completed.
I can see Staffordshire and Imperial College rather optimistically lined up for a fastest lap shootout. I'm not sure whether we're going to get there.
We have to wait and see.
We're going to see what happens because everyone out there is drenched and they have been all fantastic. So thank you to everybody. I can see there Mike Mansell trying to open his arms up and dry out a bit there.
They're not the only ones. I've got the whole of Birmingham still in the hot seat tent. You guys saw the water surrounding my feet there. So
Yes.
I've got the whole of Birmingham with me there, eagerly awaiting for these 2 teams to finish so they can start celebrating that they have won the
Cool.
endurance
There's some
event.
patience required. They
it
know
was
they've won, but they want it to be official, so they're having to wait until the official classification comes in. Birmingham with a time of 35.32. They said it this morning, several hours ago. The conditions have improved in the last few minutes, and hopefully we'll be able to go again here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2025. The track being swept there, as you can see, not of grease, not of dirt, not of any debris, but being swept of water.
Nothing but water. And that's what I'm going to go and tackle now, guys. I'm going to get back in my boat and row over to the hot seat, or shall I call it a wet seat now, to go and join Cheryl with hopefully celebrating with Birmingham in a couple of minutes' time. See you guys later.
Cheers, Monty. So Southampton and Leicester are the only teams left to go in endurance. You can see Staffordshire and Imperial College are lined up, waiting for the opportunity to send it round the course, but time will tell whether we have the opportunity to do so. Right now, priority, as it should be, given to Southampton and Leicester. Southampton with 1 lap to complete, as I have it here in the commentary box. 5 laps to complete for Leicester. I can feel the sun on my back, Jess. We're back to sunshine. It really is a day of all seasons as Leicester are being brought to the line.
Because they have the most laps to do, they'd be given the priority.
We're about to go racing again, and if you don't mind, I'm going to crack a window.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because it's getting hot in the commentary box. The temperatures keep changing left, right, and centre, and I think everyone in the commentary box is going to be probably rooting for Leicester and Southampton here. I think whenever they come across the finish line, I think that they should give them the biggest round of applause because I think they've gone through 2 red flags, I believe, 2 red flags, and they're still going.
They're still going,
So fair play.
a massive shout out to both Leicester and Southampton, teams after our own heart. We're big fans of Leicester in the sim racing. They keep us posted with monthly updates. It's a car that I've loved for a number of years. It's just incredibly simple. And at times, that's what you need in Formula Student. Just strip it back to basic, get a car that works out on track and make it work. And that's what Leicester have done. And so too have Southampton, who are on their final lap now.
A glory lap, it seems, because I don't think they want to push too much with the fact that they're still standing water on the track. And I think that is the safest thing to do, because they know they're not going to be in the top 10 in endurance. They want to finish it, and they just want to soak it up as much as they can for the team of Southampton that worked so hard.
Leicester coming through the zigzags on their way to the second slalom. I must say, though, Jess, that it looks to me like Southampton really are crawling. We know they've been faster throughout the day than Leicester, but all of a sudden, they really are taking their time, and I do wonder whether that battery has been significantly lowered in its capacity after those two red flags, and one would
We
just...
saw that with other teams that were waiting like through scrutineering quite a few times in the wet.
Got to really cross your fingers for the guys from Southampton. Meanwhile, Leicester coming through to complete their 22nd lap. Meanwhile, over in the hot seat, we've got Monty and Birmingham.
And you can see how hard the rain's coming down as well, Giles.
Indeed, indeed. As through go Leicester. I've yet to see where Southampton are, though, Jess. I can't see Southampton on any of our screens here in the commentary box, and
That will be cruel.
I'm just
I'm
just a little bit concerned, but no, there they are.
Oh.
They've done it. They've crossed the line, and surely that's it for Southampton. Surely. No, they've got another lap to go. That's 26 complete. They're on to their 27th now. They've got another lap to go before they complete it. Southampton on their final lap. We lost them here in the commentary box, and we had a wobble. We had a moment where we had a look, and they're still out on track. Southampton into the final throws
You
of
gave them a heart
endurance.
attack there, Southampton. Oh my goodness.
This is it for Southampton, and they truly do deserve this. The complete endurance against all the odds of this session. A huge hats off as they come through the boot at the top end of the course. Leicester on their way through to the second slalom for another lap. They are currently on their 23rd lap. Leicester on their final lap, though, as you can see on your screens there, car number 69. It's the University of Leicester with the electric power in the back, the furthest they've gone. In fact, this will be impeccable if they can complete endurance in these circumstances. The university that gave us Adrian Newey is about to give us another great story in motorsport against all the odds through the rain and the sunshine. Southampton are coming into the final throes of the final lap for endurance at Formula Student 2025. You can see them there heading into the left and right that precludes the hairpin. Through they go, the hairpin, and into the Mansell section of the course. Only 2 corners to go. The checkered flag is there. They really have endured a lot, have Southampton. And car number 69 finishes endurance at Formula Student 2025. A remarkable achievement for everyone involved. A huge congratulations.
I think you can see the whole team cheering. They're coming out of Cops Corner as we speak, and they're going to celebrate with their team. And I think that they were there as much as us in the commentary box. And look at them. There we go.
Over the moon are Southampton. Give us a cheer. You're on camera, guys. A massive congratulations to everybody who brought that car home through everything. I would love to give you a time, but with 73.05, it's not representative. We've got to deduct the 2 red flags. So for now, all eyes turn to Leicester. They are currently on their 24th lap, 27 to complete, and they too will finish endurance, having survived all the odds and all the conditions that the elements could throw at them. They head through into the hairpin to complete their 24th lap. It really has been a tale of the weather in this last session, Jess. Several red flags, a crash from Wuhan. It's all happened, hasn't it?
I think pretty much everything has happened. Crashes, weather, shower, everything. And we know with Leicester, I think Leicester will be celebrating if it's a win of the race. They've done 24 laps. They're on lap 25, a 1:35.51 is their time currently at the moment. I think everyone's probably going to say, come on, Leicester. I think we've got shout out from Cole Pearson saying, well done, Southampton. And he's also saying, how did Glasgow do in endurance? Well, they didn't do endurance because they didn't make it through scrutineering, unfortunately.
Sadly not. Sadly not for Glasgow. But a team that did make it through endurance have made it through the rain are the University of Leicester. Through the boot they go. Southampton going wild as they know they've achieved a remarkable feat, taking the car through scrutineering right up to the line and then taking the car out into endurance and completing endurance. A huge congratulations to Southampton as they take their car into second scrutineering. It has to be re-scrutineered before it can be classified post-endurance. You can see them wheeling it to scrutineering. Now you can also see the hot seat, and Birmingham, rightfully so, giving a round of applause to Southampton. We love the camaraderie between the teams. Another team deserving of praise and camaraderie are Leicester. As through they go, Leicester in the final throes of endurance for them. They've got a couple of laps to go on their 25th now. One team that completed 27 laps earlier today are a team with 35.32 on the board. They remain unbeaten. And I'm going to hand you over to Cheryl and Monty, who are with Birmingham at the hot seat.
It's to my understanding, you have an announcement, don't you, Monty?
That's right, Cheryl. We've had some update from the timing box, so let's go bring some guys to Birmingham. Team Birmingham, can I have your attention, please? I've just heard from the timing box, Southampton and Leicester, when they went back out on track, removing that time whilst they were staying for pits, they returned on the track at 48 minutes and 51 minutes, which means you guys are now declared officially the winners of the endurance events.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely cracking story. To come back from like a team that... Oh, we're loving that. Congratulations to the University of Birmingham, a team we haven't seen for several years at Formula Student. And unfortunately, I have bad news to go for you. Unfortunately, Leicester have stopped on their penultimate lap on the first slalom.
Keep going, get the car started.
There's life yet in that power unit. They've just got to coax it through. A lap and a half left for Leicester. And all eyes turn to the team that have overcome a great many obstacles to get on track. And the power is there, Jess. The power is there.
And we're getting the cheers along behind us in Cop's Corner. I think we're just as relieved as they are. So let's do it. If I were you, just do some sighting laps. Bring it home. It doesn't matter if you're slow as long as the power is still coming.
Leicester, start praying to whatever deity it is you worship. We've got a lap and a half to go for the team that have had to replace the brakes on their car and were doing so right up until the final session. It's taken them a long time to get here. It may not be the fastest time in endurance, but a time in endurance is nonetheless a time in endurance. As they come back into our view here in the commentary box. One lap, the second slalom, the hairpin and the Mansell course, all to do. Oh, this is tense. This is tense as the weather brightens up over Silverstone. You're live for the final laps of Formula Student 2025 Endurance, the third session underway. The winners have been declared as preliminary to go to Birmingham, a team with a fantastic story to tell. But the story is not over for Leicester as they bring it through the Mansell complex over towards the finish line. Only one more lap to go for car number 58. They've evolved it from the bathtub on wheels to the coffin on wheels. They took a fallow year last year. They came back to Silverstone. And against the odds, through all the trials and tribulation, through the wind, the rain, and the sun, this team have kept on going. They truly have endured through endurance. There's been 2 red flags on this session as they go past the first overtaking bay, headed towards the first slalom. We saw them stop here last lap round, but for now, they keep going as they head towards the boot at the top of Cop's Corner. This is all they need to do is just keep going. It doesn't matter how quick it is, and they go onto the grass, they go off. And that's a disaster then for Leicester. They have stopped on the last lap, Jess. They hit some cones. They went early into the corner, and can they keep going? I don't know. A 10-second penalty for an off-course is not going to be the end of the world at this point.
Is that cone still stuck there?
It's still going. It's still going, Leicester. as they manage to keep the car going. At this point, a 10-second off course is not going to make a blind bit of difference as they just stop again. They've got a cone under their right wheel. Under the right wheel. If a marshal can just get to the right wheel, they can keep going. There we go. There's a marshal getting the wheel, getting the cone out from underneath.
Get the
a
power
thumbs
down.
up from the driver. Can they just keep the power down now is the question. And they keep underway. Leicester are away again.
This is absolutely fantastic. Let's just hope they don't hit any more cones, because otherwise it will be an absolute disaster. Otherwise, Leicester has overcome so much to be here today, and I'm just excited, Giles.
Oh dear, I shouldn't be biased, but at this point, I just want every team to get over the line as best they can, and they've overcome so much. Leicester, you truly have our hearts here in the commentary box. Only a couple of slaloms and the hairpin to go, along with the Mansell complex. At this point, they might as well get out and push. It doesn't matter. They've just got to finish. The team on tenterhooks, the Orange Army here at Formula Student, the iconic orange bucket hat, looking to Cops Corner, the final corners to come. They've got the power to do so. They've just got to edge it round through the hairpin. It's the next corner they've got to complete, and round they go. They've got no issues through there. And here comes the Mansell complex. This right-hander has proven incredibly difficult for several teams and spelt the end of the run for Wuhan. Not the case here for Leicester. The checkered flag is there, and car 58, University of Leicester, cross the line and finish endurance.
The team are so delighted, and they've all come down to celebrate on the pit wall. I was feeling nervous, Giles. I think the team was feeling nervous, but they've done it. Of course, their time will be way off, but it will get deducted due to the red flag.
Oh, with the red flags. The first red flag, I thought, it can't get any wetter. Second red flag, it can. Congratulations to Leicester as the team run out to congratulate their driver. That is truly impeccable. Really great result for Leicester. 10-second off course or not, just congratulations to the car number 58 and everyone who got that car back out and running after the brake issue they suffered on sprint. Right now, though, they truly are your champions of endurance. They set a fantastic time of 35.32, which remained unbeaten. Here are Monty and Cheryl with the guys from Birmingham. So pleased for Leicester. That's cracking. Right, are we going to go again or not? I don't know. Oh, they're bringing Staffordshire up. We've got more commentary to do. We've got more commentary to do. Crikey, Moses.
Pretty much the same stint as yesterday.
Why does it feel so lengthy?
I know. Hold on. Yes.
So these cars are doing 5-lap test sessions essentially. So they're each doing this. There'll be no times recorded, no cones counted. It's essentially just a test session. 5 laps. No, it's no shootout. It's just
Glory run.
yeah, test lap essentially.
Cool.
No time to be recorded.
Dear Leicester, please get it. Dear Staffordshire, please get it sideways. Love Giles.
So additional lap, but it won't count, no shootout.
Yeah, it's fine. What, we've got Imperial College in Staffordshire, and that's. Oh, hang on, there's just a car behind.
Please
Who the heck's behind them?
Please be behind
The Motford. Full send University. You might be about to send it. Please send it. Please send it to Motford.
There's still an entertaining drive up for grabs.
Yes. Good shout. A massive congratulations there to Birmingham, deserving winners of endurance. Meanwhile, you join us for a 5-lap practice show-off session. We haven't got a name for it at the moment.
Test session.
Test session. There we go. We've got five laps each for the drivers out on track at the moment. That is Imperial College London, that is Staffordshire, and that is the Motford. Staffordshire have the opportunity here to really show us what they can do with this car, even in these wet conditions, as do Imperial College, who've been one of the stories of the weekend. The Motford are also here. It's referred to commonly as wacky races. We've changed the format so often, I never know when to call it wacky races or not. But here comes the Motford. Looking a little slow there, but I think that's James behind the wheel, just beginning to put his foot down. It's not James, is it Ben, or is it somebody else?
Milan. It's a driver that couldn't, because we didn't do skid pad and acceleration.
We got one of the drivers that was unable to compete for De Montfort earlier on Saturday behind the wheel. Milan, I'm reliably informed. I did think that was a city in Italy, but apparently it's a person as well. As coming across the line is Imperial College London. I will say we're not actually timing these guys. We're just asking for fast times, just fast laps. If you fancy getting the tail out, that'd be great. Because do remember, the most entertaining driver is still up for grabs. So if these teams really do want to send it, then they'd be
Because
more
we're the judges for that.
Somehow, yes, in the commentary box we are. We've been given some responsibility. By who, I don't know. Why? Again, I don't know. Imperial College London right at the back end of De Montfort. Imperial wanting to lap faster. De Montfort, it just gives an opportunity for the drivers that weren't able to compete on Saturday to get behind the wheel of Sabrina. I mean, who wouldn't want to get in Sabrina and go for a ride as the car comes through the double zigzag? It's a class car from De Montfort Sabrina there. Staffordshire coming through past us in the commentary box. Meanwhile, Imperial College London waiting patiently to be able to send it again as De Montfort come through into the overtaking bay. And away go Imperial College London back out on the power. Car number 97, a team we haven't seen for a while here at Formula Student. They abandoned the EV powertrain, went back to IC, and look where it's got them. Congratulations to Imperial College London. All of these teams you're seeing right now have completed endurance today. Through the hairpin go Imperial College London, getting it nice and sideways. There's a cone gone. Thank you, Imperial. More of that, please, from the teams out on track. Staffordshire, we know, can send it. Imperial College London proving that they can too. De Montfort, previously known as Full Send University, and we have seen them get a bit sideways previously earlier on in the day and towards the end of yesterday in sprint. De Montfort, meanwhile, keeping it a bit more consistent with a car that's a little tentative. We have seen it do better in sprint, but things were modified to get it through scrutineering. Meanwhile, through the boot go Imperial College London. We've seen a bit of it. We've seen them get the tail out just a bit. Can they get it out a bit more for us? Looking very slidey and looking very quick through this course. There's some cheering going round. Pops, Staffordshire coming through. We know that's a team with a great deal of support here at Silverstone.
They always do. I think every year they compete in endurance. They always finish quite highly, Staffordshire, and I don't blame them.
Absolutely not. As through, oh, that's nice there from Imperial College London. Nice and squiffy through the wet section of the course. Round the hairpin they go into the, what is it, yellow flag there. There's a yellow flag, and through they come into crossing the line.
We also have to say, whilst we're seeing these, a big shout out to the team over at Hyvid who have been controlling the cameras, controlling everything that you're seeing on broadcast. You can see on the right-hand side of the bottom right in the picture-in-picture. They've done a stellar job all weekend. They've filmed all the VTs as well, and they've done amazing. We've been able to see the action as much as you. So massive shout out to Hyvid. You've all been incredible. They also streamed the event over at Williams for the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. So the effort that they have put for the entire Formula Student Week has been fantastic. So massive shout out to Hyvid, massive shout out to the cameraman, the directors, everyone that's took part from Hyvid. Without them, we wouldn't get this event live stream. So thank you very much to Hyvid.
Hyvid have been absolutely impeccable. It's a passion project for them, this coverage of Formula Student. And if I dare say so myself, I think it's the best Formula Student coverage in the world. And that's not me blowing my own horn. Just the camera work from the team at Hyvid has been impeccable. The direction has just been sublime. Meanwhile, some very nice driving there from Imperial College London through the hairpin. De Montfort back out. Staffordshire going through. Cheering as they go are the team from Staffordshire. Milan behind the wheel of De Montfort, deprived of the opportunity to drive the car hard during the early morning on Saturday. They managed to get through scrutineering on the afternoon, but as a result, he wasn't able to drive in his event. Milan now given the opportunity to drive Sabrina around Silverstone, and rightly so. Great to see this used as an opportunity for those that weren't able to drive earlier in the weekend to get behind the wheel. Imperial College London on the way, coming in behind past De Montfort again. It'll be a repeat of earlier. It'll be fine. Meanwhile, you can see Staffordshire here as well, really pushing it round the wet course. There's the opportunity to get a bit sideways through the hairpin. Meanwhile, Imperial College London coming through in past De Montfort. De Montfort pulling in again. They know what to do. Imperial College London coming through past cleanly, and away go Imperial College as well. Moments away from the end of endurance and the end of Formula Student 2025. It's been a weekend of high drama, high adventure, and high rain levels as well, put it that way, as they go round the hairpin to Imperial College London into the right-hander that's caused so much drama. My favourite corner possibly ever in anything. I love that. We'll have a bit more of that from the Mansell complex. And across the line come Imperial College London. They're just out again, just going straight for it. I don't know. I've lost count of how many times. Exactly. I've got no idea at this point, but it's what Wacky Races is for. And past us in the commentary box comes car 31 de Montfort back out for another lap with Milan behind the wheel. Big up to the guys from Hyvis. You can see the outfits that they've had to wear in order to bring you this coverage through the rain, the sun, and everything else. He's shaking his head in his bucket hat, giving us a wave. Thank you to them. You can see even the camera's got a coat on. Meanwhile, we've got Staffordshire here going through the Zeds and into the second slalom.
I swear they've done more than 5 laps at this point.
I genuinely have lost count, and I'm not about to complain because it's just great to see. It's great to see some final driving, some real balls to the wall driving from the guys involved here. You can see on your screen some of the camera crew that have been involved in bringing you this coverage, who have been sat out in all conditions along with the marshals. So thank you very much to the marshals, the volunteers from Hyvis, the volunteers from Formula Student, the guys from Hyvis, and the Motorsport UK team as well. Through they go then, de Montfort into the second slalom. Out they come and head towards the hairpin. Meanwhile, Imperial College London have lapped Staffordshire. Imperial College London seemingly sending it even faster than Staffordshire, words I was not expecting to say this weekend, as round the boot they go. Following them are Staffordshire. This has been a really great weekend, and there's been a lot of stories, and we'll be able to recap those on the Formula Student podcast for you. So if you haven't already subscribed, do please subscribe to Formula Student Online. Head on to YouTube. Formula Student Online is where you need to go for the latest updates throughout the year on everything Formula Student. We've been for places as varied as Williams, the Formula One team, Alassi and Williams. We've also been to Mercedes AMG High Performance Powertrain and the University of Hertfordshire as well. Plenty more to come, plenty more in the pipeline, so do make sure you're subscribed. We'll be able to tell you all the highlights, all the big stories from this year at Formula Student here at Silverstone. As through round the hairpin go Staffordshire into one of the more complicated parts of the course. Past us here in the commentary box comes Imperial College London. That's definitely more than 5 laps now, surely, but at this point, who cares? And
I don't think the marshals care. The team will have some fun.
they are really having fun. Staffordshire cheering with every lap completed as they pass us here in the comms box. And you're seeing on the bottom right of your screen all the team that have been bringing you this wonderful coverage. So thank you ever so much to Hyvis. They've made myself and Jess look and sound far more slick and professional than we truly are if you meet us in person. It's a bit more disappointing, but you know, we do our best. And Hyvis have really brought out the best of all of us and brought hopefully home to you some of the excitement of Formula Student. Congratulations to all the teams who've competed here this weekend. Whether you've got through scrutineering or not, to compete in Formula Student is a real challenge. And to those teams that have got through scrutineering, whether you finished the events or not, massive hats off, incredible stuff. And here comes de Montfort, one of the teams that really did fight tooth and nail to get through scrutineering, to get out on track. It really did pay off. And Imperial College London coming through on the Sen. De Montfort beginning to pick up speed now as Milan gets familiar with the car and the course. Meanwhile, a team that's incredibly speedy are Imperial, coming past us yet again. Have Staffordshire gone in, Jess? I can't see them on the screens.
Here
Here they are.
Here they are. Don't panic. They're here.
They're here past us in the commentary box. Oh, look at that! That was nice. That was nice, Staffordshire. Just for entertainment value alone, just wrenching the wheel around in the wet to really get it to kick out. You can see how stable that Staffordshire car is, because the driver had to really wrestle with it to get it to oversteer. So I really do rate that. Some nice entertaining driving there from Staffordshire. Imperial College London coming to lap de Montfort now. We're not quite sure when we'll come to an end here, but we're just going to keep on. We may be here for infinity, but one would hope not, because at some point I would like some dinner. Exeter, congratulations on finishing endurance. If you fancy buying me a steak, you'd be welcome. Other commentators are available, as Jess and Monty are also deserving of a great deal of praise, as is Cheryl, who's been impeccable throughout the weekend, providing you insight and coverage in vision. Thank you ever so much to Cheryl, a really talented presenter, and you can follow her on TikTok. It's Miyuki Panda. If you're interested in Formula One, TikTok is the place to go for all your Miyuki Panda content. Meanwhile, here is de Montfort coming through. as they come round the corner to complete another lap. It's great to see De Montfort against all the odds really lapping it out now.
They're giving it every, they seem to be going a lot faster than what we saw earlier. I think they've got no pressure against them, no time. And why not? It's always great to see. You can tell these drivers are having a lot of fun. Look at that, they're just sending it. Try and go for the craziest sends ever, guys, because again, still most entertaining drivers up for grabs. Obviously, stay safe. Oh!
There's the replay. There's the replay. I get excited just watching it back as a replay. Wonderful stuff there.
It's fantastic.
From Staffordshire. Meanwhile, Imperial College London also sending it. I don't know whether the drivers can hear us, but dear teams, please get the back end out. Yours sincerely, Giles. Going a bit wide there. There's a cone dismantled by Imperial College London with that one there. And they take it into the hairpin. Getting a bit squiffy there. Had to get off the power, otherwise they really would have lost it. So Imperial are trying to send it. It's just a case of trying to know where to send it. As they come through past us in the commentary box once more. It's a great view from this camera, the worm's eye view of the start finish. Meanwhile, Staffordshire have seemingly lost it by the looks of things, or come to a stop at the hairpin. But for one reason or another, they had stopped at the kicker that is the boot at the top end of the course, and maybe they sent it just a little bit too much. Did Staffordshire? I'm not complaining, but you know, there's a car there that they can still go testing with in the early winter season. Bear in mind the cars won't be dismantled usually until December or January, so you can still get a lot out of these cars. Vital data can be gotten out of them even if they have not finished the events. They can certainly be rectified and rebuilt. Meanwhile, you've got De Montfort and Imperial College also out on track. Staffordshire there at the moment through the double zigzags and headed towards the hairpin. And here they come through the hairpin. Looking very nice through the left and right hander before the hairpin. There is Imperial College through the Mansell complex. Getting a bit nice there, liking that. Bit of a right kick on the back.
Oh,
Sure,
look
they
at
are off.
that spin.
That was De Montfort with a big spin, and they are beached on the grass. De Montfort trying to send it through up to turn one, and they beached it. They managed to wait until an opportune moment to rejoin the track, but I think they might be beached. There's some, oh, hang on, they might be overheating there. There's some steam coming off your car there, De Montfort, or they've got it refired. It might just be hot and evaporating the dew on the grass. Can they get going again, De Montfort? Is the question. Calm, 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 encourages Daniel, and they do calmly get it back out on track. Nicely done from De Montfort. They're a proper spin in wacky races. I do like a bit of that, as long as everybody's safe. And well done to De Montfort for getting it back out on track, getting it running again. Meanwhile, Imperial College London are lapping very nicely into the second slalom.
I think this is the fastest lap time I've probably seen in the wet, and they almost hit a cone there in Imperial College London. I don't think these carry penalties. They can pretty much maybe hit as many cones they want. I do not encourage too much of it, because otherwise you just want to just have some fun here. So we've got, I think the checker flag is about to be waved, so we're about to finish this wacky race, which I have to say, it's been a lot of fun. So Staffordshire just finished factory racing, so is Imperial. And
fantastic stuff there for Imperial College London, Staffordshire and De Montfort bringing up the rear to complete this year's wacky races. The grand finale of Formula Student 2025, a weekend of thrills and spills. I've been Giles, there's been Jess in the commentary box, and around about we've also had Monty. How are you, Monty?
I have been doing very good, sir. I've been running up and down, doing lots of podcast interviews this weekend, but the racing has been fantastic. And compared to last year, it was close last year, but so many more cars on the track this year. I am so proud of all the universities. They've done a fantastic job. But my question for you, Giles, is who's your money on winning this overall?
My money goes to the University of the Basque Country. I'll be investing in Europe.
That is an interesting one, and I must admit, from my point of view, I'm going for a similar one. I would love to see a British university win this, but my money's not on that. And if I'm proven wrong, then I will lead all the students in the Sunday Awards tonight to a serenade of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme if a British university has won this one.
If a British university wins, you will lead the crowd tonight in the pavilion to sing SpongeBob SquarePants.
Why not?
Thank you very much, James Monty Montgomery. Meanwhile, Cheryl, if you can hear us, and you're welcome to join us in the comms box to say goodbye to everybody. Cheryl, I can see you. Come and join us in the commentary box. We'd like to have you in the comms box with us. Yes, come on, come and join us. Because As you can see there, Staffordshire, Imperial College London and De Montfort returning to the pit lane. That brings us to an end of the Dynamics coverage here at Formula Student 2025. A massive thank you to the marshals who have stood out in all conditions this week. They've done a remarkable job, and we're incredibly grateful to both the Formula Student volunteers and those from Motorsport UK. Thank you very much to them. Thank you very much to all the volunteer judges as well in cost, business and design. And not to mention the committee at Formula Student who make sure this goes on behind the scenes. And not to mention everybody at Hi-Vis who has put this on your screens throughout the weekend and also live from Williams for the grand final of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. It really has been a fantastic week of action, a week of drama, a week of stories. We'll be able to tell you all about it over the coming months. We're going to have to say goodbye very shortly. We've had Cheryl in vision throughout the week. Cheryl, what's been your highlight so far across the weekend?
Honestly, it's been the fact that Birmingham won the endurance after going out this morning in the wet when those on dry slicks couldn't come close. So it was absolutely incredible, and congratulations to the team. Hanging out with them in the tent with the hot seat was so much fun as well. The wet seat, yeah. But yeah, thanks to Bentley for setting that up. That was really, really great.
Big shout out to Bentley and all other sponsors of Formula Student. Off the top of my head, ANSYS, MathWorks, Multimatic, Mercedes AMG High Performance Powertrain, Aston Martin, and of course Red Bull Technology Group, not to mention Bentley, OnShape RS, have just been passed a program, so I can read it off to you. Babcock, IPG, the Faraday Institute, Autodesk, Cummins, Dewsoft, Yasser, Altair, Corriton as well for providing the sustainable fuel, and of our innovation partner, the Centre for Connected and Autonomous Vehicles. Thank you ever so much to everyone who sponsors Formula Student and allows us to make this great event happen. Meanwhile, there is Gibbo and Morgan along with Kota and Aaron recovering the Cardiff car, gutting for them, but a fantastic effort and a well-placed sprint lap from Aaron with 2 out of 3 cylinders and 1 gear. Incredible stuff. And we are beginning to pack up now here at Formula Student. You can just about see us on the commentary box as they wheel away. There we are in between the JCB. Thank you ever so much to watching at home. And all that leaves me to say is it is a goodbye from Cheryl.
Oh, that's me. Goodbye.
It is a goodbye from Monty.
Bye-bye.
It's a goodbye from Jess.
Bye-bye. It's good to see you.
And it's a goodbye from me, Giles Cosgrove. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all again next year. Bye for now.
Bye. We did it!
In the spirit of Formula Student.
I zoned out. I zoned out.
Oh, that's me.
I zoned out, and you're like, bye from Chuck. Oh, that's me. Bye.
In the spirit of Formula Student, guys. High five. High five. High five. Cheers!
Oh. Well done, everyone. Well done, Giles. You smashed it, mate.
Honestly, earlier when I was watching you commentate, I was like mesmerized because you like when you're in the zone and commentating, it's so awesome to watch. Yeah, I really.
I don't
love
see it.
Well, you didn't see it, but it was like you were like proper like zoned in and you were like commentating, and I was like, this is actually incredible to watch. It was so good. Then when I went off, I was like, oh, I should have gotten a recording for it. That would have been so good. But it was honestly.
Yeah. I've got it on my camera.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Oh no, I just wanted to show Giles. I was like,
I never see it, so I don't tend to record myself.
yeah. But honestly, amazing. Honestly, I was like,
I've just seen them replaying Blue Land. Did they literally just go 2 miles an hour?
Yeah, usually it was the slowest crash the world has ever seen. You didn't need a slow motion replay. I love how Daniel just loved that. But I don't understand. I think there must have been a technical problem because they literally there was no braking, there was no turning, it was just bang.
That guy, boom!
You just need the comical effect to go as they boop off the tire.
I'm going to end comms cam, so on Giles's YouTube channel and on my YouTube channel, thanks for watching. Join us again next year, and we'll see you soon for some more action. Bye-bye.